Pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors.
I remember the very first day that I walked into the showroom and was blown away.
After 28 years as a jewelry professional, Jenny Irvin thought she'd seen everything until she walked through the doors at Diamonds Direct.
Beautiful showroom, beautiful pieces of jewelry. The atmosphere in there was just amazing. It grabbed a hold of me, and I've not looked back.
Jenny discovered that at Diamonds Direct, she could offer her customers so much more than any place she'd ever worked in the past.
Oh my goodness, the selection, the showcases filled full of designers that I had heard of but never had the privilege of ever working with. We did not have those designers.
And when you combine that with one of the largest selections of GIA certified diamonds in America, it's truly mind-blowing.
When a guest comes into our store, the selection is immeasurable. If there is a design that they're looking for, we can find it. If you walk into Diamonds Direct, there is no reason to shop elsewhere. We have it all.
And Jenny should know, after 28 years, now she's seen it all. Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
Big Joe here. Stay tuned for All-American 500 Heroes, a look at military history at the track. Brought to you by Hero.Loan.
Hero Loan is proud to be part of this year's 500, honoring our heroes. Buying a home is the American dream. No one deserves to achieve that dream more than the men and women who have served our great country. That's why we created Hero.Loan. We close VA loans in 14 days, we do all the paperwork for you, and I pay for your appraisal. Refinancing or buying a home? Get the service you've earned and apply online today at Hero.Loan. That's Hero.Loan, the only way to VA.
A number of Indianapolis 500 winners served in the military, including all the way back to Ray Haroon, winner of the inaugural in 1911. As a young man, 13 years before that, in 1898, Haroon served in the Navy and saw action in the Spanish-American War.
This has been brought to you by Hero.Loan, the new way to VA.
Pierce Jewelers is Carmel's full-service jewelry store where all watch repair, jewelry repair, appraisals, or custom design is done in-house. See them at piercejewelers.com.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis. Go trackside with Kurt Cavan and Kevin Lee. Tonight at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get late.
Kick is up, and it is long enough, and it is good! Adam Vinatieri, at age 45, drills one from 57 yards out.
Was kept alive by Oladipo, and Sabonis with a left hand.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV, FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
It's good to be back on a Wednesday midweek in preparation for the greatest spectacle in racing coming up on Sunday, in the middle now of the NBA playoff season and getting closer and closer, just a couple of weeks plus away from the start of the NFL season. What in the hell is going on? What is going on? I missed the past couple of days. Yesterday, because the Pacers started at 3:30, I was still down in southern Indiana on Monday dealing with some things. My mom had surgery. I think she's feeling pretty good right now. I'm going to try to make it back and forth for the next week or so, down to GC and back. But I think she's doing all right, seemingly so. We shall see. But thanks for all the well wishes and such you have given me over the past week. It really means a lot, and it means a lot to sit right here. Means a lot to sit right here and get prepped for, well, tomorrow. And I'll tell you how you can join me tomorrow. We've got a grand reopening of sorts. Actually, not even of sorts. It is a grand reopening that I want you to be a part of tomorrow. And believe me, if there's anybody besides me that needs a lot to drink, and I mean a lot to drink right now, I'm assuming it's you. And we've got a variety of reasons as to why I want to hang out with you. If we have to rock the mask, we'll rock the mask. We'll practice social distancing, but we will throw down drinks. And frankly, I'll probably buy them for you. Actually, that's what's going to happen. I'll explain that to you coming up in just a bit. A busy show for you. Bottom of the hour, Kristen Airy, voice of the Pacers. We'll get into yesterday's game. Yesterday's game has to be incredibly concerning just beyond that of the fact that Victor Oladipo got thumbed in the eye, and he's going to be a question mark for tomorrow night. We'll get to that coming up in a minute. Robin Miller, who was the focus of what was a spectacular article in The Athletic from Zach Kiefer, regarding his career, where he is right now. R is going to join us with that. He's going to join us and talk about the greatest spectacle in racing and more coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. The gentleman that penned that article in The Athletic that was so fantastically written, Zach Kiefer, is going to join us at 4:30. We'll talk about that and the Colts in camp and more with Zach at 4:30. 5 o'clock, Kevin Bowen is going to jump in here. And a quick shout-out to Kev, who spent the past couple of days being in here for me. I appreciate that more than he knows. So, but we still will roll with the baby entry songs coming up here today at 5 o'clock. And I've got the race of the day for us all and your chance to win a little 50-50 VIP package courtesy of our friends up at Harris Hoosier Park in Anderson. Race of the day is coming up at 5:45 today. All right, we'll lead. And by the way, the Reds, are the Reds going to play? Tucker sent me a text the other day and said, hey, that wasn't me. I said, all right, good. At least you'll get to listen to the JMV takeover. Wasn't me. It is funny. I'm kind of curious how everybody out there is delegating their time. And how has it been? There was so much conversation leading up to, hey, it's just an odd time of year. I mean, you got sunshine and it's great outside. You got kids going back to school. I mean, normally you're just not in the circumstances where you have to carve out a great deal of time to watch some, by the standards in which have been set because of COVID-19, or some incredibly exciting and important circumstances. They just are. I mean, that's how it's been carved out because of all that has taken place since mid-March. And you're not used to trying to come up with that disposable time this time of year. I mean, you're here or there. You're everywhere. Your kids are doing something. I mean, normal circumstances, they're acclimating to school. You know, now you may be acclimating to school, class, but there's so many other things happening too. I mean, some of you are doing hybrids. Some of you are just straight home. I know Monroe County is just at home doing e-learning. My kid's doing hybrid. My other kid's doing every day. You're rocking masks. It's just not the same. There's a lot to get used to. So, I mean, you could tell me just how much time that you have focused in on watching the sports that you normally get this time of year and this level of excitement in a year and in a time during the year that you're used to. That brings us to the start of the NBA postseason. I think so far it has been spectacular. I mean, if you watched the Blazers and the Lakers last night, spectacular. If you watched the first game on Monday where Donovan Mitchell went off, but still it was Denver, it was spectacular. I mean, you watched the Magic beat the Bucks yesterday, it was spectacular. Now, the lone unspectacular game was that big hot mess that we watched yesterday with the Pacers. And the things that we had talked about leading up to this, and I know that you say, well, there's no Sabonis and there's no Jeremy Lamb, and as of after 8 minutes, there was no Victor Oladipo. While I know that that is of big concern, and you take huge issue with it, and you factor it in, they got absolutely beaten down and out-toughed. And that's something that I don't think anybody around here should want to have to watch and or live with. And really, you've seen these matchups with the Heat, unless we were talking about, you know, the B team playing, when was it, that final game against the Heat? When the B team was playing, the Heat took the beat down. But when the A teams are in there, it's the Pacers that are getting out-toughed. And it's the Pacers that are taking the beat down. That's the problem. The Pacers have yet to answer the bell of Jimmy Butler. Now, I know that T.J. Warren had 22, but what are you going to say? I'm not a big Jimmy Butler guy, but holy crap, you talk about somebody that's going to back it up. I mean, you talk about somebody that's going to back it up. What did Jay Michael say? He likes Jimmy Butler because he eats gunpowder or something like that. That was his description. I don't know if he's chewing on gunpowder, but the guy's going to live up to a challenge. I mean, he's going to live up to it. I mean, the Pacers playing without guys, you can't afford to play with guys that are going to fade away. And you saw these starters fade away. I mean, even with the games you saw from Brogdon, even with the games that you saw from Warren, you saw guys fade away. And I know that it's easily explained away that, hey, here's what they're losing. And, man, you had Ed Malloy and holy crap, blah, blah, blah. It had nothing to do with that. They got out-toughed. And there was zero inspiration on that team. And this leads me to Miles. I know that it's been, I'm sure, a huge everybody ripping Miles day, and it almost feels like that. Well, you're a defender, so are you going to jump in too just because everybody else is? First of all, I never do what everybody else does. I do what I want to do. I do what I think. I do what I feel. I do what I want to say. I don't do what everybody else does. I don't take somebody's email and have to pass it on as my own information. I watch. I gather, and I come to a conclusion, and then I tell you about it, right or wrong. So, yes, I have been a defender of Miles. I mean, you guys know that by now. It's kind of a big joke around here that I have, and that's fine. And every time he plays, he doesn't play well, which consistently has been that way. When he doesn't play well, it's almost like I'm not playing well, which is kind of funny, but it's the way that it goes, and that is fine. But you knew yesterday that it wasn't going to go well from him in that first, what should have been a three-point play, what should have been a dunk and an and one, instead turned out to be a missed, soft, left-handed layup that he went back and got, and then got fouled and made one of the two free throws. You knew from that point on, I mean, this dude, when he is not in ultra confidence land, it's just not going to happen for him. And that's where he was from the outset yesterday, and you pretty much knew where that game was going. And frankly, with the omissions that I'm talking about, with those that are not available, you can't have it. I mean, you can't have that type of game. I mean, you can't have getting a foul a minute from Aaron Holiday either. I mean, you got to have all hands on deck. And they didn't have nearly enough. And I'll give it up to Miami. I mean, Miami was going full bore, but Miami had a bunch of guys that says, we're going to shoot it over you or go through you. Jimmy Butler, who has taken up the challenge, who I absolutely can't stand, but I'll give it up to him because he'll say something, he'll own it, and then he'll back it up. I don't like him, but he'll do that. He's one of those guys where if he was on your team, you would absolutely love him. But you watch him right now, and you think he's a jackass because he's talking junk and telling people to shut up and then, motioning over to the bench as if they're saying something. I can't imagine that anybody on that Pacers staff is saying anything to try to instigate a higher level of play from Jimmy Butler. Oftentimes that crap is made up. Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. That said, the last thing you want to do is try to extra motivate a guy that's depantsing your team in the first place. Ball game was over when he knocked down 2 threes. It may have been over before that, thanks, Kyle. But it was absolutely, he knocked down 2 threes. They had just gotten through on this broadcast talking about, and I think this was Chris and Quinn talking, I think it was Chris, in fact, talking about how he doesn't shoot it well from 3, but he still gets to the free throw line a buttload of times. As always, and he still gets his even without, like other players will do in this era of basketball, this brand of basketball, shoot the 3. And what did he do? He knocked down 2 incredible daggers from distance as a 28% three-point shooter. As much as I hate to say it, as much as I dislike him, that is ballsy. And as a guy that loves basketball, maybe not against the team that you follow or the team that you like, but you got to admire that a little bit. Actually, you got to admire that a lot. There's not a little bit about it. I mean, whether or not he was a horse's ass in Chicago or in Minnesota or in Philadelphia, ultimately forcing himself out of 3 different situations, the guy will stand up to a challenge. The Pacers, alas, did not. They did not. They caved. I mean, it was obvious. You sat home and watched it, right? I mean, we get the benefit of a matinee playoff game in the middle of a week. That's awesome. You're sitting home, you're watching it, and you watch Dragic just get comfortable and shoot set shot threes. That guy can hit that in his sleep. Just discombobulated defensively, turning the ball over. Not a great deal of confidence anywhere on that floor. And what is alarming is the lack of toughness that really anybody showed. And 33 among them. And you could tell from the outset that this was not going to be a good one. And then what happened there on out? Everything was front rim, front rim, front rim, front rim. I just go up, get the and one and dunk it. I know it sounds really easy. It sounds easy for me to sit here and say that, but the dude is 6'11". Just go up and just dunk. You just kind of knew for whatever reason it wasn't going to happen. And really, it's across the board. The toughness across the board against Miami for this team is just non-existent, and it has been this year. It's why Miami, in the games of note, the games that have been for real, have shown that, whether it's here or in Miami or in the bubble. I mean, honestly, I don't know about anybody else. I mean, people were talking about how, they still had a shot, and even without Vic and without Domas and without Jeremy Lamb, they had a shot. I don't know about anybody else. I didn't feel as if sitting watching that game that they had much of a shot in closing. I thought if Miami wanted to even go in an extra gear, Miami could have. I thought Miami was coasting on shot-making ability and toughness, and the Pacers had zero answer. And as much as last week I liked talking about that offense that was moving the ball and not standing around, the small ball thing, remember? I think ever since I said that, the small ball thing has been awful to watch. Yesterday afternoon was chief among them. That was awful to watch. There's a lot of standing. I mean, just beating the hell out of the basketball, dribble, high ball screen, not knowing where to go. Miami's playing this kind of half-ass zone, half-ass man-to-man, and I mean, really, everything you point the finger at, and everybody says, why'd you end up giving Nate? Why did Nate get an extension? Because this is part of they had no answer. I mean, really, Miami's just going out there, and you give them credit, they're just going out there and playing a junk defense. It seems like they know who to guard, when and where, and the Pacers just simply don't. The other aspect of it is Miami's got a dude and probably a couple of dudes that they can go to, and they're sure that they can get a bucket. And the Pacers don't really have that. And that's what was most disappointing to me, was just getting out tough. You've seen this same Miami song and dance now. I mean, you saw it once, 1.5, 1 1/4, and really not much. I mean, that final game against Miami was, hell, Kyle and I could have been playing in that. But in all the games that have mattered, Miami's just done the same thing. Just kind of forced their will against the Pacers and make some shots, and the Pacers fade away. It's exactly what the Pacers did yesterday afternoon. They faded away. It was tough not to want to turn that off. I sure as hell, I love Chris, and I love Quinn, and I love JJ and Eddie Gill, but I think I probably had a pretty good grasp of it. And it really only seemed like the Pacers made much headway is when Miami had their backups in, whether the Pacers had, their second team in and, Justin Holiday's knocking down shots. They made up some ground during that. But, man, when Miami starters got out there, it's different. And believe me, it's not going to get much better if Vic is back out, or Vic isn't back out there coming up tomorrow afternoon. But if the Pacers have any stand up and fight in them, it's time to see some stand up and fight, because you didn't see any of that yesterday. None. Zero. I mean, I know T.J. Warren, he had 22 or whatever, and Brogdon got in the 20s, but it wasn't that much. Wasn't much to speak of. Pacers were completely out-toughed, outshot, and it was Dragic chief among them in the second half that helped Barry, and there's no question about it. But the toughness factor is nowhere in the neighborhood, and that's basically Miles in a nutshell. And even being a supporter in the past of Miles, I mean, you can see that from a mile away. No pun intended. I mean, that start and not going up and dunking it and getting it as one, and then, doing whatever, flexing or getting fired up. It was just, oh, by the way, we're playing in the middle of the afternoon type of game. And that's the type of bullcrap I don't want to watch, frankly. It's been so enjoyable, up and down and fun. And then, man, when you get to nut-cutting time, you had one team that was ready to do it. I mean, you had a couple of dudes that are going to get after it. And you had a team that certainly was not worthy. And again, you do factor in what they're missing. That's fine, but, that's not going to be like Bewitched, and the chick's not going to wrinkle her nose, and all of a sudden Domas is going to come back from plantar fasciitis, or his flat tires, as Barkley described it. Wasn't it Shaq yesterday that said he should be out there playing? I mean, listen, I don't know if he should be out there playing or not. I mean, I guess it hurts. I mean, I would assume that he wants to play. Having not had it, I feel good about it. I wonder if I'm getting it, though, because I'm kind of like George Costanza. I think I've had such a long period of time of not a lot going on. Maybe that's when it sets in. But I was incredibly disappointed in the start-to-finish effort. It's just not what you want to watch. It's nothing that's going to be inspirational for anybody, and all that's going to do is help you hope that this thing gets over with quick. I mean, I thought it was that bad. And I know that they came from behind. I know they came back, but it was that bad. And 33 was right in the middle of it, doing nothing. Doing nothing. I mean, I want to prop the dude up. I want to give him credit where credit is due, but there was nothing due. They had nothing due. It was a completely uninspiring effort. And you could see it from the first play. What should have been an and one and getting fired up. I mean, these guys have basically stuck it up your rear end. How many different times? How many different ways? With and without Sabonis. And you go up, you do a left-handed flip that you miss. And then you should have had an and one. You get a foul, you go to the free throw line. You miss, make one of two. And then everything from that point on, unless you were dunking it, was what? It was short. Everything. And I'm telling you what, for the light to flicker in him, he's got to have the utmost of confidence. And, man, the well was dry on that thing yesterday. I mean, it was dry. And that's basically all the way around. But that was disappointing to watch. It really was. So many great, and I know you could say the same thing. Look what happened to Milwaukee. Look what happened to the Lakers. Well, I mean, look who they have. I get it. But, I mean, this is a team that you've watched and you've seen different efforts. I mean, you've seen this team step up and give more than what they gave. And what's so disappointing is, again, this Miami team has given them that work over how many different times? So, forgive me if we all should have felt something a little bit different, something. And you kind of sat back and you watched it and you knew it was coming. And again, just go ahead and factor in Vic getting thumbed in the eye like it's professional wrestling. And I know it was incidental. I mean, really what it was, everybody was on Jimmy Butler for the takedown of T.J. Warren, which that's exactly what it was. But, man, I don't like him. I do not like him at all. I'd probably love him if he was on the team that I rooted for, but I do not like him at all. But, man, that guy goes balls out, and everybody else is kind of, I guess, yap a little bit. And that guy's constantly looking for some motivation. I don't even know if these guys say anything, but he's constantly looking for motivation. And what does he do? He answers the bell. As much as you hate to see it, he absolutely does that. I mean, just at the moment of time, well, he shoots 28% from the floor. He gets all of his points by going to the free throw line in a mid-range game. Well, what did he do? Man, just 2 absolute three-point daggers. I mean, the game was still going to be out of reach. Don't get me wrong. I didn't think the Pacers still had any opportunity to win it, even though they were closer. But those 2 threes, I mean, they were daggered by that. From a 28% shooter that gets inspired by seeing the Pacer uniform. I don't know where the inspiration is for the Pacer team seeing that Heat uniform. Does not seem like it's there. We shall discuss at 239-1070. I'll go ahead and take your calls. It's been a while, so let's fire that up. Colts and Colts camp, the latest from Kevin Bowen and Zach Kiefer coming up a little bit later on in the show. Phillip Rivers met with the media via Zoom. I mean, everybody's liking what they see. It's going to be weird because it's going to go from 0 to 60. I mean, there's going to be no lead-in of, hey, that's what makes me feel good. Hey, that's not what makes me feel so good. I mean, it's just going to be, boom, let's go. It is now time. And that's going to be for everybody, and that, to me, is going to make it more interesting for everybody. We shall dive into that. Other NBA that is going on, we shall get into that too. Major League Baseball that's happening, we'll do that. And certainly the NFL, the greatest spectacle in racing. Robin Miller joins us. What a great article from Zach Kiefer in The Athletic. I'm a huge fan, and I'm proud to call Robin Miller a friend for a long time. Listen, R's fighting it. I mean, R is fighting it daily. That's inspirational. He's going to join us at 4. Zach Kiefer, Kevin Bowen, Race of the Day, Chris Denari, voice of the Pacers. Can the Pacers get up off the mat on this? Or is it a foregone conclusion? We'll share the disappointment of watching yesterday's Game 1 with the voice of the Pacers. That's the other side next.
Bet on the game while you watch it. Live streaming of matches with loads of in-game betting options. Download BetRivers Sportsbook or go to BetRivers.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Welcome back. There's new information that the coronavirus is on the rise. These are some of the...
Can you believe this year? Man, life is full of unpredictable changes. No one would have believed we'd be living through a global pandemic. And no one would have believed everyone had to be sheltered in for 2 months. I still don't believe it. It's crazy, right? Let's be honest. Everybody's stressed. As I said, life is full of changes. And you know what? Speaking of changes, here's another one no one would have believed. And I mean no one. I'm quitting. That's right. I quit smoking. With this coronavirus and everything, smoking just doesn't make sense. I'm concerned about my health. You know, I'm focused on living a healthy life. Life is too short.
Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. That's 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Quit at your own pace. No lectures, no pressure, just free help. 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
BetMGM Sports wants you to start out with amazing odds on this week's most anticipated matchup. New customers have a chance to win $100 in free bets when they place a $1 bet on any NBA matchup. And if either team hits a 3, you win $100. Use bonus code WFNI100. And all you have to do is sign up, make your first wager to take advantage of this offer. And August packed with basketball, baseball, hockey. Well, it happens just once in a lifetime. So don't miss this chance to get a piece of the action at BetMGM with live betting, boosted odds specials, and so much more. Download the BetMGM app today or go to BetMGM.com. Use bonus code WFNI100 to win $100 in free bets when you wager $1 on any NBA matchup. And if either team hits a 3, well, you win. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older and physically located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Come click or call. Hubler has it. Come click or call. Hubler has it.
Announcing
Hubler's model year-end clearance. We're making room for 2021 models, so everything must go. Get massive savings on all your favorite brands. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Mazda, Nissan, Acura, and Honda. Right now, save up to 20% on select models. Plus, get our exclusive 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty included on every new vehicle. Remember, if you're looking to do a trade-in, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. Don't miss Hubler's model year-end clearance. Be sure to check out our all-new Honda Superstore and our fully remodeled Mazda store. Visit drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
Offers may vary depending on manufacturer. See dealer for details.
Hubler has it all.
It's our lowest mortgage rate in history. Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates to 2.5% fixed.
This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Take advantage of this historic low rate and save hundreds on your mortgage every month.
If you have a mortgage, you could save, plus skip 2 house payments.
Use the equity in your home to pay off high-interest credit cards. Imagine no credit card debt and a lower monthly payment.
Lock in 2.5% now. If you want a lower rate or to get cash out, call us for a free mortgage checkup.
Plus, if we can't close your loan, the appraisal is no charge.
Apply online at goldenoaklending.com with our easy zipline mortgage or call 317-706-GOLD. 706-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, conventional 15-year fixed, APR 2.655, 30% equity with approved credit. Regulated by the Indiana Department of Financial Institutions.
One of the great things in life is intimacy. It's a key part of how we express ourselves and share with the person we love. Physical, emotional, and spiritual intimacy. As much as we want to share that intimacy, there are times it just doesn't seem to work out. 40% of the time in men over 40, it just doesn't work. Many couples go months and sometimes years without addressing erectile dysfunction or other sexual issues in what can easily be resolved with just one visit to the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Our Indiana licensed providers use FDA-approved medications to get intimacy back into your relationship in just one visit. There is no need to wait any longer. We are here for you, both of you. Call 999-9000 to set up a private consultation. 999-9000. The clinic visit, evaluation, and testing of the medication is just $99. IndyMen'sClinic.com for more information. 999-9000.
I'm Marcus, and I'm a contractor. When I put new windows in my home, I used Anderson 400 series windows because they're a snap to install. And as a homeowner, I only want the best. So if I installed anything less, I'd have to call myself and say, "What were you thinking?" And I'd say back, "I guess I wasn't." And who wants to have that conversation with themselves? So just go with Anderson 400 series. They're better for contractors and homeowners.
Anderson 400 series windows. The window contractors trust most in their own homes. Based on 2018 survey of contractors about Anderson 400 series clad windows.
It is JMV, and time for today's soccer scoreboard update, brought to you by our hometown club, the Indy 11, who look to avenge their 1-1 draw against rival Louisville City, 8 p.m. next Wednesday at Lucas Oil Stadium. Download the Indy 11 app today for ticket information. We got the final European Champions League semifinal match today, and right now, Lyon and Bayern Munich going at it right now with Bayern Munich 1-0, 30th minutes, first half advantage going on right there. Remember the Indy 11 back at it coming up a week from, what is that, next Wednesday, in fact. Come on, man. A week from today, Lucas Oil Stadium against Louisville City. Download the Indy 11 app today for the ticket information.
SportsCenter updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Get up to $150 off select sets of tires only at Big O Tires, the team you trust.
The Ride with JMV.
If somebody gets in your face and calls you a I want you to be nice.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Robin Miller, top of the 4 o'clock hour. Zach Kiefer, Kevin Bowen. We'll talk Colts and more with both. Race of the day at 5:45. I think Sam Smith is going to join us of Errol McLaren. 3 entries into the greatest spectacle in racing. We'll talk to Sam, I believe, coming up at about 5:30 or so. But on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline, by the way, if you're inside the lounge is open. Sean had asked me if the lounge is closed. The lounge is open right now. That's YouTube Live, The Ride with JMV. We affectionately call it The Lounge. And The Lounge is indeed open. So you can check it out. You can watch and listen and participate and discuss. You can be a jackass if you want. You can be a good dude if you want. It's just all wide open for you there. Just look at BT in the mix there, too. The lounge is open. The Ride with JMV on YouTube Live. And why you need to join me coming up tomorrow, too, to watch Game 2 of the Pacers and the Heat. I'll tell you where and why and what we're going to be doing coming up in about 5 minutes. Meantime, Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. He is the voice of the Pacers, Fox Sports Indiana, and I'm sure he's trying to think about some Game 2 changes he would like to see with the Pacers from that loss in Game 1 yesterday afternoon. Chris Denari joins us. You know, for a team that has been kind of beaten the same way by the Heat, that was tough to swallow watching that game yesterday, especially how it evolved, Chris, down the stretch.
Yeah, I got to pull you off the roof.
You do.
I was listening
I know
bit.
it.
I got to pull you off the roof.
I wasn't happy with it. I thought it was bogus. I thought it was. I didn't like it at all. Truth be told.
I mean, there's definitely some things you've got to change. There's always adjustments that you make in Game 2. I just got done asking a question and watching Nate McMillan's Zoom interview. And the good news is Victor Oladipo just met with the media. He went through their walkthrough today. His that left eye, looked open. So he sounded pretty positive about tomorrow. So we'll just have to wait and see. But that's the good news is he said it really calmed down as the night went on and his eyes started to open up. I was just looking at some of these numbers, 47% from the field. You made 10 threes. You out-rebounded the Heat. But the one issue I get into, and it's that Miami defense, is 15 turnovers leading to 23 points. And you got to figure out a way to solve that in the half court. They do such a good job of switching everything from 1 through 5, and we've seen that, especially in the last 3 losses, the loss in Indianapolis in January, the loss in the bubble a week ago, and then yesterday. So you've got to figure that out. And without Oladipo, and I thought another big thing yesterday, John, was Aaron Holiday getting into foul trouble. So you've taken 2 of your better offensive players off the floor, and they really then could focus on Warren. I thought Brogdon played well, but he was forced to go one-on-one a lot. The Pacers are better when that ball is moving like it was in the first half when they built that early lead. So there are things that, they just simply got to make improvement at because this is a Miami team that has way more experience than they do in the playoffs. I think that was one of the factors late. Dragic and Butler have been there, and they played like it. And the Pacers have to overcome that because you don't have as much playoff experience as the Heat, but it doesn't matter. You're in a situation where you're trying to win a series, and you need to bounce back in Game 2.
Yeah, I just the way that they faded, it was disheartening for me too. And I thought it was funny, right as you mentioned that Jimmy Butler only shoots 28% and he gets most of his points mid-range and from the free throw line. He absolutely buried 2 3-point daggers. And I know that he has experience and he's had it in Chicago and he had it in Philadelphia and he's a really good player, no question. But, man, he has a level of toughness where right now he believes he owns these guys. To me, watching him play, he believes he owns them. And the Pacers, I think, look like at times trying to defend him. They question whether or not they can get a stop. And that to me amounts to a great deal of toughness that maybe the Pacers aren't going to find.
Well, they definitely had it in the last 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, look at it. The third quarter, you were down 10. You fought back to a 1-point game. You had it tied at 83, 85, and 87. You were in position to potentially pull off the win, but they made the plays. And you're right. They were the tougher team down the stretch. They took advantage. Dragic hit some big shots. Butler hit some big shots. And I thought, offensively, when it got to be about a 4 or 6 point game, maybe the Pacers panicked a little bit. Now, Warren hit a big 3 to cut it to 3, but every time the Pacers, scored, Miami had an answer. And I thought one of the issues was, Johnny, I told you, is the Pacers shot 47%. I thought it was a tough 47%. They really had to work hard in the half court to be successful. And on the other end, Miami, wasn't working as hard to be as successful. So, hopefully Oladipo can play. Hopefully Aaron Holiday doesn't get into early foul trouble, because those two guys on the offensive end will make a big difference for the Pacers. They need that, because the way they are going to defend Warren, the way they're going to defend Brogdon, and the other thing that Nate McMillan said at the end of the game, and I heard you talk about Miles. He struggled early. Yes, he did. But I don't think the Pacers really took advantage of the mismatches for Miles. I think they went away from him maybe too often, and you've got to get it to him and let him get some confidence, because we all know Miles is a guy that just benefits off great confidence, and I think if you can get him some confidence early, this is not an easy matchup for him against Bam Adebayo. And so I think if they can get him going a little bit early, that will be helpful.
He got a gift, though, early. He got a gift of this is a great starting point for somebody that needs that level of confidence that you're just talking about. And he went up soft with the left and missed it, went up and got his own, and then got fouled going back up. When you and I both know, I know it's easy to say from sitting here, just go up and dunk the ball. Just dunk it. And that would have been, to me, the type of start that is necessary for him. And then it was a struggle for him unless he was on the move and going to dunk. Everything was short. And, he had it. He had that gift of a nice look and a finish and an N1 opportunity that he frankly blew. And rest of the game, for the most part, he kind of blew. And that's just the way that it was.
Well, I think a couple of the issues were, he had the nice dunks. You're right on the bounce pass, I think, from Warren, and he got one from Brogdon. I thought on a couple other occasions down in the post, he didn't take his time. You have to be a little bit more patient, whether it's Adebayo behind you, even if it's Jay Crowder who gives up size. Jay Crowder does not give up bulk. And I think a lot of times Miles rushes himself against those mismatches down on the post. I think the one time he turned and he really didn't know where he was, where I'd like to see him take a little bit more time. Or what I'd like to see him do is throw it back out and then repost and try to get deeper down onto the block. I think if Miles could do that on occasion, I think it would be more helpful. I think he gets it in the post sometimes and thinks, well, I got to make something happen right now, and he goes a little bit too quick. So I think if he can be more patient, trust his teammates that if he throws it back out, he'll get it back again. I think that would be helpful.
And I often wonder this, and I'm sure you probably don't have an answer for it. None of us really do, unless we were in that locker room, is you talk about trusting that his teammates will get him back the ball. I often wonder, sitting there watching, if his teammates trust him enough initially to even think about throwing him the ball a lot, as to the reason why he doesn't get it and doesn't do it and doesn't feel comfortable in doing it.
Yeah, I think one of the issues yesterday, and they've got to solve this, and Nate McMillan addressed this today, that more and more teams in the NBA are switching. I mean, it's become a switch-happy league. We saw Houston last week switch a lot against the Pacers, but I don't see them as the same type of defensive team as Miami. Watching yesterday, at times, even though they were playing a man-to-man, they were really in a zone. They were protecting areas and creating havoc for the Pacers. They switch everything off a pick and roll. They're more than happy to switch with Adebayo. They'll put him on Brogdon. And I think that's the issue that the Pacers have to figure out, is how do you attack Miami with these multiple looks that they give you? That's a credit to Eric Spoelstra and his coaching staff. I mean, they've done this throughout the year. That's why they've been highly successful. That's why, when they got Jay Crowder, when they got Iguodala, it gives them the opportunity to play differently. We saw Iguodala do this with Golden State. He was always in the game at the end of the game, and we saw that yesterday. They're going to use Iguodala sort of as a wild card. And so the Pacers just have to figure out how to address that, especially starting with Game 2 tomorrow.
So Chris Denari, voice of the Pacers. Pacers Game 2 with the Heat coming up tomorrow afternoon, and I shall be on after that game is complete and what is a big-time game number 2, what else stood out to you as far as me complaining about the overall outcome of the game? And I just thought, Chris, I thought that Miami was the much tougher team, and it's been through games this year, except for the one where, the regular guys weren't playing. I mean, it's kind of been that way. I mean, it's been the same type of description. The same type of ingredients have been necessary in the way the Heat have handled the Pacers. And the Pacers, I know without players, but the Pacers have failed to really figure too much, if anything, out regarding the Heat to this point.
Well, I disagree with you, because if you go back to December in Miami, the Pacers lost by a point, 113-112. And quite honestly, I don't want to say they handed that game to Miami, but in retrospect, they did. They had that game down the stretch. And but no, give Miami credit. I thought, John, really through the better part of 3 quarters, and really through 3 quarters and maybe about 4 or 5 minutes, it was the final 7 minutes yesterday when Miami, you can say, was the tougher team or the team that made the plays down the stretch. I thought, counter to the game a week ago in the bubble, I thought the Pacers played pretty well in the first half. They were down 4. And I thought, even though they gave up a double-figure lead early in the third quarter, they fought back and cut it to 1. I thought for the most part they played better than they did in the previous game, but the end of the game was similar, as that they didn't finish. And you've got to play 48 minutes. But the oddity of the series is there was no home court. I look back in recent Pacers history, and I think back to, 2013, 2014, the Pacers lost Game 1 at home to Atlanta. They lost Game 1 at home to Washington and somehow came back to win the series. So it is doable if you lose Game 1. You clearly don't want to go down 2-0. That's why tomorrow is a very important game, even without either team having home court advantage. You don't want to dig yourself an 0-2 hole, because then you've got to win 4 of the last 5 games that are played to win the series. So definitely tomorrow is important. Victor Oladipo, hopefully he is able to go. And again, he indicated that today he did go through walkthrough. That's all they did. But just looking at him doing his Zoom interview from Indianapolis, he looked better. So hopefully he will be a factor tomorrow, and that will give the Pacers definitely a better chance to win.
Hey, Chris, in closing here, how much of that positive work from the Pacers, from getting back into it and building a lead, was that done against the Miami starters, or that was done against the Miami bench? Both times they got back into it.
Yeah, if you look at it, it was definitely some bench players. I mean, I think the rotations are a little bit different in the playoffs because you're not going as deep. That's why I thought that even though Friday's game was played without the bulk of the starters, it was an important situation for that bench unit to get some confidence. I mean, I look at a Doug McDermott. He's got to score more than 3 points off the bench for the Pacers to be successful. Justin Holiday hit some threes. I think the bench is going to be very, very important to help set the table for the starters. And then, quite honestly, the starters have to be better. But again, it will help if you have Victor Oladipo. I mean, you don't have Domantas Sabonis, you don't have Jeremy Lamb. I mean, we all know that you're without 2 of your top 6 or 7 players. I still think the Pacers have the ability to win this series, but you've got to be a little bit more on your game. I thought they played all right yesterday. Again, I thought they played better than they did a week ago, but all right isn't enough. You've got to play even better to beat a team like Miami. And I agree with you. I mean, Jimmy Butler is one of those guys that when he's against you, you just can't stand him. If he was on your team, you'd absolutely love him because of what he brings. Yeah, what he brings to the table. And I think that's why, for whatever reason, it didn't work in Minnesota and it didn't work in Philadelphia for him, because I think he pushed guys like Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, even Simmons and Embiid into a place that maybe those guys didn't want to be. Well, the culture in Miami with Pat Riley and Spoelstra is exactly where Jimmy Butler needs to be, and that makes it difficult for the Pacers in this series because of what Jimmy Butler is capable of. We saw what he was able to do in Chicago when he was alongside Derrick Rose, and this is a perfect situation for him. yesterday was one of the best games he's played in the playoffs, John, in his 56 games. I think it was the fifth best offensive scoring output in his playoff career. So you also got a big game from Dragic. So you got to find a way to limit those guys and take care of the other guys. The scary thing is, Duncan Robinson didn't shoot it very well yesterday, and he's a guy that's very capable. So you just have to, do a better job and hope you can come out with a win tomorrow.
Yeah, I kind of felt like jumping off the roof yesterday. Truth be told,
I did. Well, I know it's been difficult. I mean, your mom has undergone surgery.
She didn't like it either.
You told me that one of the games that she sat in her truck and listened to the game because.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
But
she didn't like it either.
So yeah. I mean, it is. That's the beauty of the playoffs. It's a 7-game series. There are highs and lows, and game one it's a low because you got beat, and now you got another chance in game 2.
All right, hey Chris.
Hopefully we're all feeling better tomorrow.
We'll be. Hey, don't give Jimmy Butler that kiss of 28% 3-point shooter, and then have him nail 2 straight. Okay. Don't bring that up.
The announcer jinx. I know that was my fault 1,000 miles away. Right.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right.
Chris Denari on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group Hotline. Zach Kiefer, 4:30. Kevin Bowen, 5 o'clock. Yeah, I got time for you on the other side. 239-1070. Email JMV at 1070thefan.com, at JMV 1070 on Twitter. Inside the Lounge, the Ride with JMV is on YouTube Live video. We've got pictures, we've got sound, and we have participation from the Lounge Lizards. Robin Miller set to join us at 4 o'clock. 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
Race is coming up, and what better way to get ready for it than getting some swag from the prize that 500 Legends drink? Visit the Fan and enter for your chance to win an American Dairy prize pack.
Admired for his skill in racing and his kindness to others, Brian Clausen's legacy continues on and off the racetrack. Sadly, in August of 2016, Brian Clausen died from injuries sustained while competing in a race. Because Brian had registered his decision to be an organ donor, he saved 5 lives. One of those lives saved is Dan Alexander, Brian's heart recipient. Dan, a United States Marine veteran, had suffered a massive heart attack in 2013, destroying the left side of his heart. Because of Brian's decision to be a registered organ donor, Dan received a life-saving heart transplant, giving this U.S. Marine veteran more time to volunteer in the community and enjoy life with his 5 children and his grandchildren. Your decision to be a registered organ donor today can save lives in the future. Learn more at driventosavelives.org. Be like Brian. Be an organ donor. Register your decision at driventosavelives.org. That's driven, the number 2, savelives.org.
Hey, it's John here. The NBA playoffs are here, and FanDuel Sportsbook has a slam dunk offer that you will not want to miss. Right now, new users can get special plus 2,000 odds to any team to make the NBA Finals. Just pick any team, then bet $10 for your chance to win $200 if they make it. This offer is even available on favorites like the Bucks and the Lakers. Woo! After watching yesterday, that's interesting. The ball's in your court, really. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started, and be sure you sign up using my promo code JMV. And let them know that I sent you. This is really fun, and you know what? Financially, it could work out really nice for you, too. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code JMV. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, more ways to win. 21 plus, President, Indiana, new users only, must wager on designated Boost Market. Max bonus $200. See full terms at fansportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com, your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Hey, it's JMV for LD Smith Plumbing at 317-284-9526. They're the absolute best, and one thing you don't want to live without is a battery backup on your sump pump. And right now, LD Smith Plumbing is offering a free
primary sump pump with installation on a battery backup system in your home. 317-284-9526. That's LD Smith Plumbing. The best at following CDC recommended guidelines. For more info online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any. We buy any car. Any make, any model, any age, any price from $50 to $100,000. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any. We buy any car. Sell your car the easy way. Go online and sell it today. We buy any car. Any. Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Hey, Johnny for Heaven Hill Distillery. Backyard Bourbon Broadcast, third and final one for 2020 is coming up for the month of August. Have you signed up yet? Do you like to have a party in your backyard? Are you ready to have a party in your backyard? So it's me. I'm going to bring this show. We're going to hang and have a great time. You and 30 of your friends. And I'm going to bring everything. Heaven Hill Distillery. They're going to bring the beverages. Thank you, Brent Halverson. It's going to be Larceny Bourbon. It's going to be Evan Williams. It's going to be Luna Azul Tequila. Fat Tire Beer and Ryan Stoltz is going to bring the great beer, Fat Tire from New Belgium Brewery. We're also going to give you hydration, courtesy of the great Connecticut Water. That's Joe, John, and Dennis. And Ford's Garage supplies the food. My friends at Ford's Garage are absolutely awesome. They'll bring in the JMV burger, too. All that and more in your backyard with 30 of your friends. Backyard Bourbon Broadcast number 3. Sign up right now. 1075thefan.com.
Hey, it's Stan Dockich here with my wife, the lovely Lee Ross. Lee, we've had several jobs done at our house by the Michaelis Corporation. You've dealt with them way more than I did. You know I forget everything. Remind me, what was the scheduled work they did and how'd it go?
They were great to work with. Michaelis rebuilt a roof over our sunroom and a structure over our 2-story deck so we could sit outside on the lower level even when it's raining. The ladies at the office kept me informed every step of the way, and Michaelis did everything they said they would on schedule.
Here's what I know. It looks great, and you are happy. And when you are happy, I know it got done right, and oh, by the way, I'm happy.
Bill, Dave, James, Brandon, and the whole crew from Michaelis did a great job around the Dockich house.
Besides being great general contractors, Michaelis has experts in waterproofing, foundation repair, mold remediation, indoor air quality, emergency fire and flood restoration, and insurance restoration. Spelled Michaelis, pronounced Michaelis. Call 844-FIX-INDY or michaeliscorp.com.
It only takes 5 minutes to see how much money we can save you by dropping your rate into the twos. Find out how much you can save today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The talk of Gasoline Alley with Speedway historian Donald Davidson. Tonight at 8 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
You stupid, ignorant son of a dumb bastard! Christ, I've met some dumb bastards in my time, but you outdo them all. Get over there!
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Thank you for joining us. What a gorgeous Wednesday outside. Kristen Airy was just on the show to keep me from jumping off the roof. Thought we're down in GC like earlier today. It might have been the Tulip Trestle Viaduct. The roof is a choice, though. Denary Podcast, 1075thefan.com. Robin Miller coming up at the top of the hour. This reminder tomorrow, I'm going to be down. It's the grand reopening, and I am happy to be the first back in. Slippery Noodle, tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to actually be there about noon, and I'm going to have some food. And we're going to hang out with Josh, and hopefully I get a chance to see Hal and Brent Halverson. And we're going to watch the Pacer game until I come on, which means, since I'm there with Brent Halverson, that you guys have the opportunity to come down and watch the game and drink with us. The beverages will flow freely, if you know what I mean. I don't think I'm allowed to come out and say, hey, I'm going to give you free liquor. But I don't think I'm allowed to do. But I mean, when I show up, that's what happens. When Brent shows up, that's absolutely what's happening. So you can mask up. I mean, we'll follow CDC recommended guidelines. I'll pee without using my hands. We'll do all of what we're supposed to do right now to stay clean. But it is time that we go down and revisit one of the great institutions of bars and entertainment venues that this city, that this state has ever known, and that's the Slippery Noodle coming up tomorrow. So I'm going to get there at noon. I'm going to throw down a little food. And if there's anybody that needs to drink some solid Heaven Hill Distillery beverage, it's me. And maybe you too. But it will be flowing freely coming up tomorrow. So join me there. We'll watch the Pacers in the Heat, and we will welcome back. It's the grand reopening of the Slippery Noodle with my friends Josh and Hal, Marty, and Brent Holverson tomorrow. So if you have time and you're looking for a place to watch the game, just join us. We'll all wear masks. I'm more handsome wearing one anyway, so I actually dig it. That's tomorrow, Slippery Noodle. Grand reopening with Heaven Hill Distillery and free-flowing beverages from Heaven Hill, too. John Barry says, have you ever whizzed off the tulip tree trestle? I've ridden a motorcycle across the tulip tree. Of course I've whizzed off of it. Have you ever ridden a motorcycle across it? That is not smart. Never ever think about doing that. What do they say? Young, dumb, and fun. It was me in a nutshell. Quick break. We'll come back. Legendary friend of this show. A great article was written by Zach Kiefer of The Athletic regarding our friend Robin Miller. And R is going to join us coming up next.
SportsCenter updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Get up to $150 off select sets of tires only at Big O Tires, the team you trust. Watching that first bucket sink in any NBA game is always exciting, especially when it's the team you're pulling for. Now, PointsBet is adding even a little more alley-oop to it with a sizzling fast and easy score-first insurance. Your team bangs in the first bucket but gets blown out, you still walk away a winner because you get up to $50 of free bets. An L in their column, a W in yours. That's right, did we just say that? We did. Score first and win, no matter what happens in the end. That's PointsBet, even making the first bucket more exciting. Faster rewards, faster parlays, faster in-game. And it's all on PointsBet's easier mobile app. Basketball is here, so lace up and get ready because Score First Insurance is here. PointsBet, stay sharp. Download the app today and get 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000 with promo code Indiana. PointsBet is a proud partner with the Hollywood Casino, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Must be present in Indiana. Must be 21 plus. Additional terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hubler Honda has moved. The new Honda Superstore is now open, and we're celebrating with grand opening savings. Right now, you can lease a new 2020 Honda Civic LX with front-wheel drive for only $205 a month, 0 down. Or drive a new 2020 Honda CR-V LX with all-wheel drive for just $305 a month, 0 down. Plus, during the Honda Summer Clearance Event, you'll get clearance pricing on all Honda models with our exclusive 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty included. Only at Hubler Honda's new Superstore in Taylorsville. Or click HublerHonda.com.
Hurry to Hubler Honda, home of the 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty.
Hubler has it all. On approved credit, 36-month lease with 12,000 annual miles. 0 security, 0 down, tax, title, dealer fees not included. Must finance with Honda Financial Services. See dealer for details. Expires 8/31/20.
Hey, back to school time right now, so the kids are going here, there, and everywhere, right? There's no doubt about that. Make sure your car, truck, or friends is running the way that it should, and get it into CarX, your Central Indiana Joe Childers run CarX location today, and get it checked up. Whether it just needs an oil change, they can do that. If something mechanically is not right, they can do that. The best in brakes, the best in tires, and the best prices anywhere. And certified technicians that can get the job done right. I'm telling you what, the best I've ever worked with. Thank you, Joe Childers. Back to school time means making sure your car, truck, or van is doing what it should. It's very important this time of year. You can't absorb a breakdown. Don't get it. Take your vehicle to CarX today. Find that area location, CarX.com. Don't worry. Call the CarX man.
BetMGM Sports wants you to start out with amazing odds on this week's most anticipated matchup. New customers have a chance to win $100 in free bets when they place a $1 bet on any NBA matchup. And if either team hits a 3, you win $100. Use bonus code WFNI100. And all you have to do is sign up, make your first wager to take advantage of this offer. And August packed with basketball, baseball, hockey. Well, it happens just once in a lifetime. So don't miss this chance to get a piece of the action at BetMGM with live betting, boosted odds specials, and so much more. Download the BetMGM app today or go to BetMGM.com. Use bonus code WFNI100 to win $100 in free bets when you wager $1 on any NBA matchup. And if either team hits a 3, well, you win. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older and physically located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Did you know Geico's now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies? That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Your dentist to actually believe you?
And you're flossing every day.
Absolutely.
Great. And you're cutting down on your sweets?
Of course.
Wonderful. Then I don't even need to look in there.
Great. See you in 6 months.
There's never been a better time to switch to Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. Limitations apply. Visit geico.com for details.
Geico knows there are many reasons why you ride. From the thrill of the revving engine and pure adrenaline of flying down the highway to the confidence of knowing that Geico always has your back with 24/7 access to claim service. But Ari Snyder has one reason in particular.
I have extremely large upper arms. They won't even fit into most shirts. Thankfully, biking really embraces vest culture, so I feel accepted.
Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
At Unibet Sportsbook, we know that within every bettor, there's a bet so genius, no other person on this planet could have thought of it. It's called a parlay, a custom-made bet that says, today, my confidence level is on the money. Sign up today and get $30 free to use on your first parlay and enjoy daily parlay boosts at Unibet Sportsbook. Visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook, crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Want to save 20 to 50% on your diamond for your loved one? Come see Pierce Jewelers before you spend your hard-earned money. See them at piercejewelers.com.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis. Pacers, Heat, the NBA playoffs. Game 2 tomorrow at 12:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper. Make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Let's do some calls coming up in a bit. Zach Kiefer, bottom of the hour from the Athletic. Bowen in the 5 o'clock hour. Sam Schmidt. Errol McLaren. Big goings on with Sam coming up tomorrow. Sam's going to join us at 5:30. Race of the day, 5:45. But on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, friend of the show, is the greatest spectacle in racing. And oddly enough, we're talking about it in the month of August. Robin Miller, who also had a great article written by Zach Kiefer, is going to join us in less than 30 minutes about him earlier this week. That was a job well done, man. I really enjoyed that.
Well, I mean, it's so flattering that, I told Zach I hope it doesn't cost him his career, because you spend that much time writing about some old washed-up sports writer, but he made it pretty entertaining, and he did a hell of a job. And it's, like I said, it's awfully flattering. You just kind of, when somebody, I had met Zach a couple times at the City Market when he was writing for the Star, and we talked about some of the old days of the Pacers and the Colts and the race, just because he wanted some background. And he's such a good reporter. He wants to get as much information. So I knew him. I used to send him messages. Hey, I really liked your story. I really liked your column. I would have thought he was going to make a great 3 or 4 time a week columnist for the Star. And then he went to the Athletic, which was the Star's loss and the Athletic's gain. But the only downside of that whole story in the Athletic was I had lunch with Foyt yesterday, and he said that I now have to be I have to be nice to him the rest of his life because he kissed my ass in that story. great is that? How great is that?
I was going to ask you what was the point in your relationship with AJ Foyt where he would have started to feel comfortable in saying something like that to a reporter about you?
Well, probably I mean, here's the thing, Johnny. I always got along with AJ until 1981 when we had our little spat, and then we didn't speak for a year, and then we became friends again in '82, and then, you know, he came out with a video and a book, and he asked me to to MC the press conference for it. So I mean, from the early '90s on, I mean, from the late '80s, early '90s on, we had a pretty good relationship, but it just I don't know, as he got older and I got older, and I enjoyed more calling him up on the spur of the moment, just bullshitting with him for 10 minutes or so about the old days. And, you know, you just kind of, it's, when you think about him and Parnelli and Mario and Bobby and Dan Gurney, all the boys, I mean, they're all over, you know, Dan left us a couple years ago, but everybody's over 80 years old. AJ's 85. So I think he's mellowed quite a bit, but he is the thing that the single great thing about why Foyt's such an American treasure is he's still the most filtered human being I know. I mean, he there's nothing, he doesn't hold back about anything, and that's what I think that's what's so refreshing about him is that he will never change. We did a 90-minute interview yesterday at his winery, and hopefully NBC will use 2 or 3 minutes in the pre-race show Sunday. But he signs off in the absolute greatest sign-off you could ever want. It was basically, I ain't apologizing for anything. I ain't changing anything. I'm AJ Foyt. You don't like it? Too bad. It's just wonderful. I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't care.
He doesn't.
And he was, you know, and neither did the other guys I talked about. I mean, Parnelli and Uncle Bobby, they say what's on their mind. And I think, you know, nowadays race drivers have to be careful. They have sponsors and this. Everybody's touchy-feely about, oh, my God. Whereas the reason there were so many great characters in the 60s and 70s because they were their own man and they didn't have PR people telling them what to say or do, or they did whatever they felt like doing. They survived the most lethal era in the history of racing, and they weren't about to have somebody tell them what to do or what to say. And I think that's why they're still the heroes they are today, not to mention their incredible skills and their record. But it was all those combinations. And as far as AJ, I mean, you know, I don't know. He's called me up. You know, he calls me up every week and just checks on, seeing how I'm feeling. And you know, I mean, I was calling him once every couple of weeks just to see how he was feeling. Now it's kind of on the other foot. But, I mean, he looks really good. I mean, he really does. For all the stuff that he's been through, John, I mean, he's 85 years old, and he got color in his face, and he's walking. I mean, no, he doesn't walk real good. He can walk, and
he's been attacked by killer bees twice, right? Not once, but twice.
Twice by killer bees. He was on a ventilator for 10 days. He beat sepsis. He broke his neck, his leg, his arms. He's been set on fire 3 times. Let's just see what else. Well, I mean, he smashed his feet and legs at Elkhart Lake and just pulverized his feet and legs. Got run over by his own dirt cart at DuQuoin and broke his ankle. I mean, this guy has had so many things happen to him, and he always came back. He always bounced back. And you know, when he got hurt at Elkhart Lake, I mean, that had to be, you know, we were all like, well, that's the end. I mean, there's, you know, that he's 50, whatever he was, and, you know, you can't come back from something like that. It was just devastating. He said, you know, not only will I be back at the Indy500 next year, I'll walk to my car. And I just, you know, we all said, you're nuts. But he did it. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. And, you know, he loves proving people wrong, and I think that's kind of part of his drive, and it always has been, probably. But, you know, he just tells some really interesting stories. I mean, he was his first year. This is his 65th consecutive Indianapolis 500, Johnny. Think about that. 65 years in a row.
Yep.
And, you know, he was 20 years old and sitting in the turn 2 grandstands in 1955, and 3 years later he's in the starting lineup at the age of 23, which just was unheard of.
So Robin Miller is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline with us. And, again, The Athletic has the story penned by Zach Kiefer, which is really good. We'll talk to Zach about that at the bottom of the hour. It occurred to me when I was thinking about you yesterday. I was off, and I was thinking about you. What does this race, the 104th running, being held in August with a pandemic going on as the backdrop, what do you think it's going to end up meaning to you with how many times you've been around just racing in general, but certainly the greatest spectacle in racing?
Well, I told Roger Penske and Mark Miles, I sent him a note the other day after the first day of practice, and I said, hey, this is the 51st straight year I've covered this race, and I can't cover it. I mean, you won't let us in the pits or the garage area. You can't cover the race this way. I want to talk to the drivers and mechanics and engineers when they get out of the car. So give us an hour after practice, give us an hour in the morning in Gasoline Alley. Well, I wish I'd have written that a couple weeks earlier than that, but I really wasn't sure what the rules were going to be because you just can't cover it like that. So there's no fans, there's no personal contact with the people, so it's like you're kind of observing from. You might as well be in California. I mean, sitting in the fourth floor of the press room is no different than being in California watching it on streaming, but on NBC Gold. But the measure of the race will be decided Sunday afternoon, and I think it's going to be a hell of a race. And that's all we'll care about at the end of the day is how good the race was, and we'll all remember it was in August, and we'll remember that nobody got to go. And a lot of people's feelings are hurt, and I get it. I understand it. And, again, I think I told you a couple weeks ago, maybe Roger will tell us someday, but, I mean, he was gung-ho to have at least 60,000 people there, and something happened. And I don't know if the lawyers got involved or whatever, but I don't think it was his decision to pull the plug on fans. So I think, it bothers him, too, that there's not going to be anybody there. It's just it's so strange, just you drive in. You sign a waiver, they take your temperature, you go park, and you walk up, and there's no cars there, there's no yellow shirts, there's no anybody. So it's like a big tire test, really. And everything, I mean, if the race is as good as the dramatic Fast 9 shootout was at the end, that's all we're going to hope for. And I think the race will be just like it's been the last 4 or 5 years. You just want 2 or 3 guys coming down to the last 10 laps, beating on each other, trying to win the race. I mean, that's for a 500-mile race, that's all you can ever hope, Johnny.
So Robin Miller joining us. I guess I'm kind of in a theme of what it means to you, ... question mark. And you can tell the story on this. What do you think the weekend meant with Marco Andretti to Mario Andretti?
Well, you got to remember this. I mean, Marco should have won the race as a rookie when he was 19 or 20. And what happens to his career if he wins the Indy500 the first time? Is he going to win 5 championships and 25 races, and he's the guy to beat? I mean, the psyche of a race driver is it's very fragile, and racing's all about confidence. And last year he started 10th, and he was running 20th after 3 laps, and he finished 5 laps behind. I mean, it was embarrassing because this guy used to be one of the guys that was a favorite. Hell, he's finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. He's led 141 laps. He was right there every year at Indy. Even if he struggled somewhere else, Indianapolis was still a place he was really good at. So I think from Marco's perspective, it was the greatest thing for his confidence that he could have ever wanted, and especially the way he got it by running 4 phenomenal laps against the gun to beat Scott Dixon by an eyelash. And for Mario, when you've always been, behind your grandson, and you've been there trying to help him, and you've been in the pits, and you've been on the phone, and you call him after practice, Mario is he's all about trying to help the kid. And sure, I'm sure sometimes Marco said something, I guess, the other day about, nobody's going to yell at me for a while. So, I mean, I think, it's not easy being an Andretti, and people go, oh, yeah, okay, he's got 6 houses and 5 cars and makes a lot of money. You know what you're talking about, Miller. I just think the internal pressure that you would have to feel, and people act like Marco doesn't care, and that's not true at all. He's just very quiet. And I think it has to eat him up inside that he knows he's an Andretti, and he's won 1 meaningful race in 15 years, and he's 33 years old. But maybe this will be the renaissance that turns his whole thing. it could turn his whole career around, and that's what Mario's hoping. And I think for Mario, as much as he cared about Michael and Marco, I mean, he's so proud of his kids and his grandkids, and it probably meant almost as much to Mario as it did Marco. As you could tell, we all called Mario after it was over. Everybody cut quotes from him because, he's the most quotable guy, and you knew he was going to be on top of the moon. So it was just it was cool to see Marco smile afterwards. And I don't care if anybody's a Marco Andretti fan or not, you had to feel good for the guy because he's been down for a long time, and it was a really cool moment. And it was not just good for Andretti, it was good for IndyCar racing.
Does it irritate him? Because there are many out there that believe that the reason why he's sustained in his seat is just simply because of his last name. Is that a motivational factor for him?
I don't know. I don't know if he reads the websites and the chat rooms and stuff like that. He probably doesn't. I don't think he probably does. I think he knows what people say, and he deals with it. He doesn't. I just think when you look at his last year at Detroit's the greatest example I can give you. It's raining and the track's wet. He goes out on slick tires and runs a couple laps, and it's one of the most amazing jobs of car control ever. We showed it on NBC like 9 times. We couldn't believe it. The guy's got talent. There's no doubt about it. He's got talent. It's just bringing that talent out and having that confidence. But for him, I think, I'm sure he's heard what people say and stuff. I'll tell you a funny story. I picked him to win Indy 4 years in a row, and it was probably 2012, 13, 14, or 11, 12, right in there. And he finally came up to me one day in the pits and he said, "Hey, no offense, but would you not pick me to win this year?" I could be the Andretti curse. I don't know.
I think they would have done something about that long ago had that been you, though.
Yeah, I think I just got done doing a story on the Andretti curse because, believe it or not, the Andretti curse has its own page on Wikipedia. And they quote me in it about a story I supposedly wrote in 19 whatever, and I don't remember. I've been looking for it for 3 days. So I called Mario yesterday to talk about it, and the wives' tale is that when he actually owned his own team, pretty much when he won the race in '69. Firestone kind of owned it, but it was Mario's name, and then Andy Granatelli was a sponsor. So then Granatelli bought the team and got rid of Clint Bronner, who was the guy that kind of discovered Mario. Well, Clint Bronner's wife supposedly went nuts. Got so mad and went out and found this voodoo black magic woman out in the desert in Arizona and put a curse and said, "I don't want an Andretti will never win the Indy500 again." And that was 1970. And Mario's like, "Yeah, I heard that." He says, "But I didn't get rid of Clint. It wasn't me. That was Andy." And he's right. So whatever you think or whatever you look at, you kind of look at this. You look at the statistics: 555 laps led, 441 laps led, 141 laps led, one victory out of all those laps these guys have led, and some of the ways they've lost the race. It does seem like there's a curse. Or at least
there's no way that doesn't get in your head. There's no way you wouldn't think about that after all you just described. None.
Well, probably. You can't when you're racing. Mario laps the field twice in '87 and the thing breaks, and Michael laps the field in '92 and it breaks. 10 laps to go or whatever. So. I think when you're as competitive as they've been, but what's so cool about Mario, his quote to end my story is that I don't believe in the curse, but he goes, people are wrong if they think, I have nothing but admiration for Indianapolis. It's been great to my family, and we love the place. And he's not just saying that; he means it. He's one of the great ambassadors for the Indianapolis 500 and has been for 50 some years. So it's interesting because they have every reason to bitch and moan about, oh my God, how many laps do we have to lead and we can't win this race? Are you kidding me? Dan Wilson led a half a mile and Michael Andretti led 441 laps. And it's just, Indy's a cruel place, and it's tough, and it's not fair, and there's a lot of luck sometimes involved. So it's interesting just because I was just looking at DraftKings the odds on the race, and they got Marco as the 1, 2, 3, 4. He's tied as the fourth favorite at 8.5 to 1. Now, it's interesting because before last weekend he'd have been down here. He would have been down here with Spencer Piggott at 5,000 to 1, or Charlie Kimball at 12,000. I mean, that's how the odds makers kind of have to react. They're looking at the starting lineup and they're thinking, hell, this guy's starting on the pole. He's been the fastest guy all month. We got to give him respect and move him up there. But it's interesting because I'm hoping DraftKings is going to have some prop bets. Here are some prop bets, but not nearly. I mean, how about this for a prop bet? Car number of race winner, over 20.5, under 20.5. Car number of race winner. I mean, and what kind of prop bet is that? Give me something with some meaning. How many laps is Ed Carpenter going to win? How many laps will Team Penske lead? Will Tony Kanaan lead a lap? Well, give me something that's got some meat in it. Don't give me that.
Come on.
That's what worries me about all these online places. They're lining the Indy500, but I guess most people would probably just bet they just bet the win. But you want to bet matchups and stuff. Hinchcliffe against Pagenaud, or Newgarden against Power, or Rossi against Dixon. I mean, have some, match up the really good matchups and give people a chance. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think. Who do you think's going to win, Johnny?
It's tough to pick against Scott Dixon doing anything, man. It just is.
Yeah, you read my mind. I mean, he's 4 to 1, but he's so good, and he's been so good all week, and there's a guy that he's only won this race once and probably should be a 3 or 4 time winner. So it'd be really tough to bet against Dixie. And the other thing you have to wonder is, we haven't heard much from Team Penske. And yesterday at lunch, I said to AJ, I said, what's going on with Chevy? I said, you've been over there kicking, screaming, and throwing stuff. And he goes, no. He goes, I was told that just calm down. We'll be okay on race day. So you always figure that Chevrolet will have something to say about it, and certainly Team Penske can never be ruled out.
Robin Miller, and there's a great article written by our guest that's going to join us at the bottom of the hour, Zach Keefe for The Athletic, regarding the career as a sports writer, a bettor, a cheeseburger connoisseur, and, more. The old scout. Did you guys – the old scout saw just great stuff right there. It is.
Well, I mean, I asked Zach if I can – in my payments to him, can I make them monthly or can I give him one lump sum?
I will. Hey, how are you feeling, R?
I feel fine.
You sound good. You sound good.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. When you have chemo 7 days in a row and you don't feel too bad like 4 days later, you're lucky, because I think, it's how you – well, everybody reacts differently to chemo, and my stomach hurts, but that's no big deal compared to what a lot of people go through. So I'm pretty lucky about in that regard. And, now I got a couple weeks off from chemo, so that gives me more time to concentrate on betting basketball, baseball, and auto racing, John, which is really what is important in this world.
Well, I've always been honored to call you a friend, man. I am, and I appreciate all you do.
You're the first guy that brought me back from the dead. Come on now. You're the guy that put me on your radio show when I was persona non grata.
It's always a pleasure, brother. I appreciate you. We'll talk at you next week.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Robin Miller on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It's one of my all-time favorites right there. All-time favorites. Zach Keefer had a great article regarding R. We'll talk to Zach about that and Colts camp. That and a lot more. I mic'd up Phillip Rivers today, too, which is pretty interesting. Is that at Colts.com, right? Colts Twitter. I mic'd up Phillip Rivers today. The difference that you see, and this is not just a casual shot at Jacoby Brissett, but is there an actual difference between what you see between the Jacoby Brissett thrown footballs and that of Phillip Rivers from that small sample size in training camp that they've seen so far? Zach's going to join us. Other side next.
See IndyCar in person and enjoy great camping in 2021 at Road America. The $111 four-day tickets available for a limited time at roadamerica.com.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com, your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from the Bill Estes Ford family in Brownsburg.
Rob, not now.
Whoa, Brian, you okay?
My family's schedule is so unpredictable right now, and that makes work more stressful.
I get it, Brian. When I get overwhelmed, I try to make decisions today that are safe, responsible, and well-informed. So tomorrow I'm better suited for whatever may come.
How?
Well, it's always safe to upgrade to a newer car and responsible to pay less for it. Right now, we've got great discounts on the cars you need to move your family around. Get $6,000 off any of our 2020 Escapes, 26th in stock. Get $10,000 off any of our 2020 F-150 XLTs, 47 in stock. Or choose 0% interest for 72 months on many of our great models.
And you'll be well informed by our sales team, not overwhelmed.
Feel better now, bud?
Today is better. Hey, want to grab lunch tomorrow?
Let's just stay in today, huh, Brian? Get $6,000 off any new Escape, get $10,000 off any new F-150 XLT. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates are in the twos, and we are saving homeowners hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with an easy refinance. We're also making it so that you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments and get some cash out at closing. And if you're even thinking about buying a home, we can get you pre-approved the same day, and you can close on your new home in less than 30 days. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, it's JMV. The best party of the summer is back. The Evan Williams Bourbon Connecticut Water Backyard Broadcast Parties are here with New Belgium Fat Tire Beer as a new partner. Check 1075thefan.com for your chance to register and have me and 30 of your friends hang out together this summer. Thanks to Evan Williams, Connecticut, and New Belgium Fat Tire Beer. The Backyard Bourbon Broadcast. Sign up now. 1075thefan.com.
Denny Smith here. My friends at Sundown Gardens are gearing up for a fantastic fall. All shrubs are 20% off now through August 30th. See all the hydrangeas, roses, ornamental grasses, and foundation plants like boxwood and yews. Mums and fall annuals have started to arrive. The gift shop is full of beautiful autumn-themed decor. There's even a fun Halloween section for indoor and outdoor decorating. Save the date for the fall open house, September 19th. Sundown Gardens at 186 and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
Hey, John for PAI, we grow hair, Indy.com. If you have noticed hair loss in your dome coverage, I'm here to tell you that there are options. Hey, look inside the lounge here and look at the video here. The luscious lettuce that I have right now, it's real growing hair again, and it's the inspiration of the procedures that they perform at WeGrowHairIndy.com. 317-522-2995. There is nothing fake about this. This is the real deal. If you're losing your hair and you want to regain its growth, get Darren Andrews on the horn ASAP. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Did you know Geico's now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies? That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Your teenager to help around the house?
Okay, Mom, I emptied the dishwasher, vacuumed the basement, and folded the sheets out of the dryer.
Wait, what?
Oh, and next, I'm going to clean Mitten's litter box.
Are we in some kind of prank show or something? That's a camera, isn't it?
There's never been a better time to switch to Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. Limitations apply. Visit geico.com for details.
If you've got an insurance question, you could talk to a dentist. But instead of filling you in on ways to save on your policies, he'd probably be too busy filling in that loose crown. Or you could talk to your local Geico agent, who will use their expertise to polish up your policies, from home and auto to renters, motorcycle, boat, and RV too. So while, yes, your dentist can save your smile, your Geico agent could save you money, which will make you use that smile a whole lot more. To find a Geico agent near you, visit geico.com/local.
SportsCenter updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Get up to $150 off select sets of tires only at Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Put an end to mealtime mutinies with Long John Silver's family meals. Mix and match chicken and fish and keep everyone happy. Visit longjohnsilvers.com to find delivery near you. Long John Silver's. Fish, yeah. Price and participation may vary.
The Ride with JMV.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
NBA bubble playoff. Denver and Utah, game number 2, with Denver up 1-0 in that best of 7. Jazz, a 2018 advantage. Juwan Morgan got the start. And Juwan Morgan knocked down that first 3 of the game for the Jazz, former Indiana Hoosier. Joining us now, Robin Miller just joined us, by the way, podcast 1075thefan.com. But joining us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he penned what was a fantastic story about the aforementioned Robin Miller and his latest effort inside the Athletic. Zach Kiefer joins us. So what did you learn through all that, Zach?
I had a blast. I can't even tell you how much of a blast I had. I mean, this was a story that I started in January, thinking the race would be late May like usual. And Robin and I had lunch a couple times. We met a working man's friend, as you know, which is basically like his haunt. Everybody knows him there. And I had an absolute blast. We went back to the stories he had from the 90s covering the Colts, going back to the 80s and the 70s, covering the track and all those characters at the Speedway, covering the ABA Pacers and all the stuff that he saw then. And let me tell you, there's some great stuff in the story, and there's some great stuff that I had to leave at the cutting room floor for obvious reasons. If you know Robin Miller, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt. I mean, he's a character, a fantastic character, and certainly has been through so much. So I would, and continues to go through so much too, in what has been a great life, no doubt about that, covering sports as he loves. You can check that out, The Athletic. It's the latest from Zach Kiefer. It's a good story regarding our friend Robin Miller. Kyle and I were talking about this a little bit earlier before the start of the show, and I know that he was mic'd up out at Colts practice today. What are some of the subtle or not so subtle differences between the football being thrown by 38-year-old Phillip Rivers and the football being thrown by Jacoby Brissett?
So good question. It took me a minute to get used to Rivers' throwing motion. I think a lot of people will have that reaction, right? It's not normal. It looks weird. It's almost like a shot put. But I was talking with Stephen Holder, my colleague at The Athletic, about this morning, and Rivers is faster. It's a faster motion, and he throws with more anticipation. And those of us out there who watched the Colts last year knows that this is something Jacoby struggled with, especially late in the year. His throwing motion is a little bit longer, and it doesn't necessarily feel a lot of times like he's throwing guys the ball at the very correct moment, right? He's not throwing guys open. He's throwing to guys that are open. You want to throw it earlier than that. Rivers gets the ball out fast. It's not a pretty motion. We'll get used to it, but it's boom, boom, and he's got the ball out. And I think Frank's going to like that. Frank Reich's going to like that. I know Nick Sirianni likes that. That's how they want to play. And if you go back to 2018 when they finally had this offense moving, late in the season and Andrew Luck was playing well, that was a big step forward that Andrew Luck made. He started to get rid of the ball faster. He was doing too much holding on to the ball early in his career, and Frank helped him a lot with that. I think Rivers is going to slide in very effortlessly in that regard to the offense. He's going to snap the ball. He's going to get the ball out. That's going to protect him because he's a 38-year-old quarterback who can't move. And secondly, it's going to work for the receivers really well.
Zach Kiefer, The Athletic, covers the Colts. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So they seem sincere, and I guess by saying Frank seems sincere about giving play opportunities as far as the playbook is concerned to Jacoby Brissett. What might he be thinking in all of this? And do you think that this will at some point this season become a reality? Are they really going to use him like that?
I definitely do. I don't think Frank's backing down on this. I don't think it's going to be like what you see with the Saints and Taysom Hill. I don't think Jacoby's that athlete. He's not a bad athlete. He's faster than it seems sometimes, and he's pretty good at avoiding pressure. But, look, I mean, you know this from knowing people inside the building. They love Jacoby Brissett inside that building. And outside the building, there's been a lot of criticism, and I get it. And the other day, Jacoby said, I'm still a starter in this league, and I played like it last year. I don't know if a lot of fans would agree with that. The Colts see it that way. And, look, I mean, it's going to be really, really valuable to have a backup, number one, as good as Jacoby Brissett in the backup role. Two, they're going to get him some snaps. I really do believe that. They're going to work something in there. I mean, if you go back to 18, you know, he got Jacoby in for a real snap in the red zone, and they tried to throw a touchdown to Andrew Luck. Now, I wasn't a fan of the play. It didn't work out. You almost got Andrew Luck, who was coming off 15 neck surgeries and shoulder surgeries, killed. But they're gonna throw Jacoby Brissett in there. I really believe that. Even if Rivers is healthy, he's going to get a couple snaps here and there.
So Zach Kiefer, The Athletic. He joins us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. With the COVID testing numbers and how this has been handled so far, listen, we kind of go through this day by day, so I'm just assuming that everybody feels as if this has been a successful start to the season venture to this point, Zach, correct?
Yeah, for sure. That doesn't mean executives aren't worried about some young players making dumb decisions, though.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, when you got a guy sneaking in chicks and stuff, and dressing them as teammates, if you got one in the mix, that may end up happening to you.
Yeah, but look, I mean, this is probably not the most popular thing to say, but the NFL deserves a lot of credit. You're seeing outbreaks in baseball, and the NFL hasn't played games yet. They haven't traveled necessarily, but they have a huge, huge number of guys, right? They have a much bigger roster than the NBA, and they're in the bubble and in baseball. So the NFL went to work on this, and every single team facility was flipped, and it's become basically a COVID safe center / NFL training facility. The testing percentages are like less than 1%. That includes staff, that includes players, that includes everybody that goes in that building. I've talked to multiple people inside the Colts building that have been tested 22 to 25 times in the last month. And they're really, really keeping the numbers down. The NFL deserves a lot of credit because I have a feeling that the NFL season is not just going to start. It's gonna go pretty deep, and let's see this thing finish. That'd be great.
Do you ever foresee an opportunity? And I guess ultimately we haven't found out exactly what the Colts are going to do yet, unless I missed it. And we're finding out what ultimately is going to happen with a lot of teams. Some are having some fans. We know what Jerry Jones ultimately wants to do in Dallas. We know what they're doing, for example, in Las Vegas. We knew what they're doing in New York at the Meadowlands. How do you see this breaking down? Is it what they have talked about, what they have put out there so far? Will it decrease to nothing? How do you view this?
Yeah, and I've talked to some people about it. It's like, 15,000 as of right now.
Sure.
The Colts will be down there on Monday and then the following Saturday for practices, but that's with no fans. It's kind of a dress rehearsal. But look, they're hopeful they can get 15,000 in, but they're definitely not adamant that that's going to be the reality. The Colts know that this could change tomorrow. This could change next week. This could change by September 13th. They know that there's definitely a possibility where the NFL just comes out and says no fans at any games. Now, if it continues to go the way that it's going, it wouldn't stun me if they were able to get some fans in. If you distance them throughout the stadium, and you put some signs up and some advertisements, it probably could work. They're going to severely limit the number of people that could be on the sidelines during games, including media before the games and trainers. I mean, it's going to be very, very scant. So it's going to be a new look for sure. But let's keep the players safe and let's play some football games.
Do you think that there could be a decision by the NFL? Could they end up having a postseason bubble of some sort?
That's a good question. I haven't considered that, but the postseason is going to be completely different without home field advantage, right? I mean, that's a huge part of the postseason. That's why New England's had such a huge advantage the last 10 years because they're always playing at home in Foxborough in January. Check back with me in November, December. Maybe the Colts will be in that discussion.
I kind of wonder because I don't think the NFL has ruled that out. And I mean, who knows where we're going with this the sprinkler system of a life we're all leading right now. I mean, it's 19 different directions every single day, but it seems like if they haven't ruled it out and they're still considering it, that could ultimately be some sort of reality.
And it's something that you would have to consider if you really want to finish this thing, right? If you have a pretty good regular season and you feel like it's been fair and most teams have had a fairly good shot, I think the bubble situation is something that gives you, 80 to 90% confidence that you could finish the year and have a legit Super Bowl champion. I think that's what everybody wants. Look, it's going to be a different season. It's going to look different, but I think every team wants to get to January and have the best, 7 teams. I think it's in each conference play, playoffs. So, look, the NFL can do whatever they want. Money's no issue. We know that. Look, they can take some cues from the NBA because the NBA has been ahead of this.
Yeah.
They called off their season back in March before everybody was ready to do it. The bubble is working perfectly. Adam Silver is the best commissioner in sports. The NFL should look to the NBA for some lessons. Hey, the bubble, I'm all for it because I really feel like once you get to that point, you could finish the season safely.
And I will give it up to the players, too. And I know that they get paid incredible amounts of money compared to all of us. There's no question about that. And, they should do any. But, I mean, they still have given up, their normal liberties, shall we say, to be involved in this. And some of them are going to be down there for 3 months. And, at least from my entertainment value, I'll give it up for that in that decision making because – I don't know how many folks would be on board in MLB for something like that. I don't know how many people would be on board in the NFL for something like that.
Yeah, and I think kind of in some sense, like we're all sort of in this together in terms of like we all know how much April and March and May sucked without sports. Like, right? Like I can just say, I think everybody out there agrees. Like it sucked. And now that we've got the NBA playoffs back, we've got baseball back, we've got NFL training camp to talk about. Like I have days now where I forget that it's a different training camp just because it's so good to be back out there watching football and discussing football and getting back to some semblance of normalcy. So I'll give credit to the players for sacrificing, but everybody out there is sacrificing. So let's just hope that there aren't too many knuckleheads because there's going to be a couple.
So Zach Kiefer, The Athletic, joining us. So I saw Adam Schefter tweet this a little bit earlier that they are considering in the NFL using fake crowd noise in their games. I think you almost have to a degree, don't you? Wouldn't it be incredibly boring sounding without it?
Yeah, it'd be like a practice. But how many bad tweets did we get from Patriots fans about how the Colts have already been doing that for years?
Well,
right?
Who was it? Who was the guy at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette that wrote a column following a playoff game about that? Do you remember who that was?
Yeah,
back in the
that.
RCA Dome days?
Here's the thing, though, and you know this. The RCA Dome was loud as hell. I mean, that was ear-splittingly loud, especially when Manning got those teams going. I just don't fathom a scenario where the RCA Dome needed more noise. I mean, you couldn't even hear yourself think in that place. Now, Lucas Oil is not the same. It's not as loud. It's definitely nicer and more – it's just not quite as –
Well, and while I agree with you, I don't think it happened. I mean, what we know now, sitting here today, after all the rules, for example, that have been bent, especially by the Patriots on their way to winning titles, I think everybody can just kind of piss off about whether or not there was crowd noise pumped into the RCA Dome because maybe the Colts are ahead of their time trying to gather or gain an edge with that because it's people blame Atlanta. Say Atlanta has done that over the years, and certainly, I mean, New England has revolutionized the way to kind of bend the rules to get that final edge.
Yeah, they definitely trademarked different ways to cheat. I mean, this got overlooked last year, but do you remember they sent a scout was videotaping the Browns-Bengals signals a week before they played the Patriots last year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're talking –
it was the Bengals, too. It was the Bengals they were going to play.
God's sake. Yeah. I mean, so the Patriots, if they're going to point fingers on teams that may or not have been cheating, it's like, well, this is your rap sheet over the last 15 years, and this is how many draft picks you've lost. This is how much money you've been fined. So, no, I'm with you. And to be honest, I miss those RCA Dome days. That was a heck of a place to watch a game.
It was a good time. And the Steeler. It was the Steeler. I forget what his name was, but he was the columnist at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I hate the terrible towels. That's one thing I hate. I know a lot of Steeler fans. A lot of Steeler fans.
Everywhere.
I hate it. I've always hated it. I'd blow my nose or wipe my rear with it. I can't stand it.
I went to Canton to cover Bill Polian's Hall of Fame enshrinement a couple years ago, and Jerome Bettis was going in, and 95% of the stadium was terrible tiles. And what did I get myself into?
A little urine yellow wash rag is what that thing is right there.
Hey, they travel. I think them and Green Bay Packers fans.
I give them credit.
Man.
I give them credit. All right, give me one storyline outside of a mic'd up Rivers and the throwing of Rivers. Give me one storyline that's worth following as we're finally into padded versions of camp practice with the Colts right now.
Yeah, you can call me an idiot in a month for saying this, and I'll take that. But look, we've seen 3 practices, and I know that's not much, but Tyquan Lewis is bringing it. He's bringing it. He looks bigger. He's going against Quentin Nelson. He's holding his own. I think it's getting clear to him that this is it. And if he doesn't bring it this camp, he's going to get cut. And he's a second-round pick. Remember, this guy was drafted in the same round as Darius Leonard and Braden Smith and Kemoko Toure. And he hasn't done anything as a Colt. And there were weeks and weeks and weeks last year where he didn't even play, and he was healthy. He just wasn't bringing it. And you would see him in the locker room, and he looked like a sad little kid. He just was lost. He didn't look like he had it. And I think he had some come to Jesus moments this spring where he kind of realized, like, look, if I don't play this year, if I don't play and have the best training camp of my life, I'm not going to have a job. So he's bringing it, and it's going to be a tough position group to make. There's a lot of talent on the defensive line. Sheldon Day is not out there right now, but you throw in Buckner, and it's just there's not a lot of spots up for grabs. You got Justin Houston and Toure and Ben Bannigan, where does he fit in? I haven't seen him flash yet at all. But I have seen a lot from Tyquan Lewis, and yes, it's just 3 days, but he looks bigger. And if he keeps this up, even Frank Reich admitted, look, he's bringing it. He's bringing it so far. So, don't write him off just yet. He could add another element to that defensive line that really hasn't been there since he got here because he hasn't done anything as a Colt.
His latest effort is with regards to our friend Robin Miller, and he writes for The Athletic, Zach Kiefer, via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Always a pleasure, man. That was a great article. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Have a good one.
You too. Zach Kiefer on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Kevin Bowen, top of the hour. Sam Schmidt of Arrow McLaren Racing with 3 entries of the 33 in the field coming up on Sunday's 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. Joins us today at 5:30. Race of the day, 5:45. You and me next.
School's back, and you can win $100 in a Sprout account from Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest. Details at 1075thefan.com.
I'm Nate, a home contractor and a homeowner. That's how I know there's nothing more important than trust when putting new windows in your home. So when I said to myself, you should get Anderson 400 Series windows, I asked, why? Then I responded with, because they're time-tested and have fewer callbacks. So I said, makes sense, let's do it. I couldn't be any happier with myself. Or my new Anderson 400 Series windows.
Anderson 400 Series windows. The window contractors trust most in their own homes. Based on 2018 survey of contractors about Anderson 400 Series clad windows.
Hey, JMV, the NBA playoffs are here, and FanDuel Sportsbook has a slam dunk offer you will not want to miss. Right now, new users can get special plus 2,000 odds. Any team that you can pick to make the NBA Finals. Just pick a team, then bet $10 on your chance to win $200 if they make it. What a great offer this is right now, and especially considering what we've seen in the first couple of days of the NBA postseason. Legit and fun. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, get started, and be sure to sign up utilizing the promo code JMV so they know who sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook promo code JMV. FanDuel Sportsbook, more ways to win. 21 plus, present in Indiana. New users only. Must wager on designated boost market. Max bonus $200. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates are in the 2s, and we are saving folks hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with an easy refinance. If you're thinking about a refinance, we can drop your rate, get you some cash out, skip 2 months of payments, and close in 30 days. And if you're buying a home, let your realtor know that you can close in 30 days or less at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Watching that first bucket sink in any NBA game is always exciting, especially when it's the team you're pulling for. Now, PointsBet is adding even a little more alley-oop to it with a sizzling fast and easy score-first insurance. Your team bangs in the first bucket but gets blown out, you still walk away a winner because you get up to $50 of free bets. An L in their column, a W in yours. That's right, did we just say that? We did. Score first and win, no matter what happens in the end. That's PointsBet, even making the first bucket more exciting. Faster rewards, faster parlays, faster in-game. And it's all on PointsBet's easier mobile app. Basketball is here, so lace up and get ready because Score First Insurance is here. PointsBet, stay sharp. Download the app today and get 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000 with promo code Indiana. PointsBet is a proud partner with the Hollywood Casino, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Must be present in Indiana. Must be 21 plus. Additional terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, JMV here with a special announcement about Connecticut Water. A lot has changed this year, but Connecticut's mission of helping customers enjoy great tasting water and it being clean, soft, and feel good has never changed. Connecticut, in fact, has been providing clean, great tasting water for 50 years. So come celebrate Connecticut's largest customer savings event of the year, where it's all about special discounts and big-time savings. Come in September the 10th through the 12th at the Indianapolis locations, where you can enter to win big prizes and big savings. It is awesome. You don't want to miss this event, celebrating Connecticut and saving you big. And here's cheers to 50 years of great water. Those 2 locations where you can save: Northeast Side Castleton, Southside US 31, and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app. Download that to your smartphone or device today. And all the information you need, ConnecticutIndy.com today.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Trading in or selling your car, truck, or SUV? WeBuyAnyCar.com takes the hassle out of selling in just 3 easy steps. 1. Get your free online valuation. 2. Drive to your local car buying center. And 3. Walk out with your check in as little as 30 minutes. So don't wait. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
We didn't come here for a vacation. We came here with one goal: to let everyone know who we are. Do they know about the monster who controls the sky? Do they know about leadership that unites on and off the court? About teammates who will fight for each other in every last point? Soon enough, they'll know. This is Pacers playoff basketball.
Pacers versus Heat, Game 2, Thursday at 1.
Every play is a play to bet on. Whether it's who scores next, a three-pointer, or a free throw, it could be the play that matters to you. So bet live at Unibet Sportsbook. Live betting options for every moment of the game. Sign up today and get $250 in risk-free bets. Visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
If you love one-of-a-kind treasures or colored gemstones like fine rubies, sapphires, or emeralds, Pierce Jewelers is the place to go. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle at a price that works for you? Visit drivehubler.com to browse hundreds of used cars, trucks, and SUVs, some starting below $5,000.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Well, not really. I felt it on my leg. Come on, I don't want to see it.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Kristen Airy, Robin Miller Podcast, 1075thefan.com, where you'll also find from the Athletic Zach Kiefer. Race day coverage, me and Rickard. It's 10 a.m. downstairs. I think we're on WIBC downstairs, right? Do I get to take us to traffic? Do I get to take us to traffic on the 10s coming up on Sunday morning? There won't be any traffic, so will Matt Baer be? Do you know if Matt Baer's doing anything? Will he come on and say, Georgetown Road's perfectly clear? Crawfordsville Road, perfectly clear. 16th Street, clear. Nah, it's always fun. And we'll do that coming up 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Your pre-race coverage. I think me and Jeff Rickard will be doing it with a cast of thousands coming up on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Hey, tomorrow I'm going to be there at noon, but feel free to get there anytime after. At noon with me tomorrow, the Slippery Noodles grand reopening, and the free beverages will be flowing, if you know what I mean. Heaven Hill Distillery, Brent Holverson and I will be there. Josh will be there. Hopefully you get to see Hal. The free beverages will be flowing. We'll watch the Pacers in the Heat game number 2 at the Noodle, and we're going to drink like crazy. I'm going to drink like crazy. It is a liquid lunch. So join us to watch the game and then hang out with us afterwards. Heaven Hill Distillery, and it is the grand reopening of the Slippery Noodle. I love to have them back. And they're going to do some different things because you have to in this age. Going to do some different things, little parking lot concerts, things like that. So that's tomorrow. I'll be there at noon. Show up during the game. Just hang out with us at the Noodle coming up tomorrow, and we'll grab you a beverage or two. Or in my case, 4 or 5. I don't know. Tomorrow. My man Daytona Ken's at 239-1070 before the top of the hour break. Ken, go ahead.
Hey, JMV, how's it going?
I'm great, Ken. Good to hear from you. Go ahead.
It's great to hear from R. Miller, man. It's just so good to hear that he's on the air and sounding good. I go back a lot of years with him. I remember when he was a young pup covering the Pacers their first year, and I was able to get in the Nettos for the smoke show, even though I was only 19 years old, because I was one of the sponsors of the Pacer broadcast, so nobody even dreamed that I wasn't 21, you know. And that
you got
was
that
the
right.
smoke show in Indianapolis, I want to tell you.
You got that right.
It was great to hear him again, and over the years, it's just been wonderful to follow him, and I'm glad he's with us this time of year.
My brother, it is always good to hear from you, too. Thanks for calling, and thanks for participating during the JMV Takeover every Saturday, too.
Hey,
we appreciate you.
Have a special night before the race party?
We're going to do, you know what? I'll tell you what, I got to run here, Daytona Ken, but call in. It's going to be a no-slow weekend, and thank you for your call, my brother. I'll explain a little bit more about that coming up. Let me hit this top of the hour break. No-slow weekend is going to be a blast down the hall coming up on Saturday. I'll explain. Our friend Kevin Bowen coming up on the other side. Sam Schmidt's going to join us bottom of the hour. Race of the day is out there via my Twitter handle right now. 50-50 VIP package up for grabs. Back with you next.
BetMGM Sports wants you to start out with amazing odds on this week's most anticipated matchup. New customers have a chance to win $100 in free bets when they place a $1 bet on any NBA matchup. And if either team hits a 3, you win $100. Use bonus code WFNI100. And all you have to do is sign up, make your first wager to take advantage of this offer. And August packed with basketball, baseball, hockey. Well, it happens just once in a lifetime. So don't miss this chance to get a piece of the action at BetMGM with live betting, boosted odds specials, and so much more. Download the BetMGM app today or go to BetMGM.com. Use bonus code WFNI100 to win $100 in free bets when you wager $1 on any NBA matchup. And if either team hits a 3, well, you win. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older and physically located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
John for Heaven Hill Distillery. Hey, join me tomorrow. Brent Holverson and I from Heaven Hill. We're going to be hanging out and throwing back some, watching the Heat and the Pacers game 2. Slippery Noodle Grand reopening tomorrow. I'll be there about noon. Feel free to go ahead and filter on in anytime after that and hit us up for some of the free-flowing beverage, too. Shout out to Heaven Hill and Brent, also a part of the Backyard Bourbon broadcast. One final is coming up the month of August. It's you, 30 of your friends, me, my friends, my show, and your backyard. We bring all the beverages from Heaven Hill Distillery. Ryan's going to bring you Fat Tire beer. We've got hydration from Connecticut with Joe, John, and Dennis, and great food from Ford's Garage, all in your backyard. It's the Backyard Bourbon broadcast, the third and final, coming up later on this month. If you want us there, sign up, 1075thefan.com.
Welcome back. There's new information that the coronavirus is on the rise. These are some of the
Can you believe this year? Man, life is full of unpredictable changes. No one would have believed we'd be living through a global pandemic. And no one would have believed everyone had to be sheltered in for 2 months. I still don't believe it. It's crazy, right? Let's be honest. Everybody's stressed. As I said, life is full of changes. And you know what? Speaking of changes, here's another one no one would have believed. And I mean no one. I'm quitting. That's right. I quit smoking. With this coronavirus and everything, smoking just doesn't make sense. I'm concerned about my health. You know, I'm focused on living a healthy life. Life is too short.
Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. That's 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Quit at your own pace. No lectures, no pressure, just free help. 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com, your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
When we sell a piece of jewelry, we're becoming a part of their story. These are pieces that will be passed down, and their story lives on. And to me, that is the most remarkable, honorable thing that you can do for your family.
Diamonds Direct's Jenny Irvin knows a quality piece of jewelry is more than a one-time gift. It's a lifetime treasure. And that's why everything at Diamonds Direct comes with a lifetime warranty at no charge.
We partner with them for life. Everywhere else I worked, the warranties were charged. You don't pay for a warranty with Diamonds Direct. That is our thank you for shopping with us.
Cleaning, sizings, rhodium plating, all free at Diamonds Direct. And if you want to grow that diamond that we've cared for over the years, you can do it with Diamonds Direct's 110% upgrade policy.
Never have I seen a company that says, love this piece of jewelry, own it for a year, bring it back, and we'll give you 10% more, and you don't have to double what you spent.
Diamonds Direct, your jeweler for life.
You truly will become a member of our Diamonds Direct family.
Keystone at the Crossing and online at diamondsdirect.com.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Maxine. But since she is so focused on growing her career, we hired an actor to read her story.
At Geico, I love mentoring the new associates to help them make this a career and not just a job.
And with new opportunities and job stability, Geico has been helping people grow their careers for over 75 years. The only downside, she still hasn't met the gecko. Where are you, fella?
Ready to start your career, Indy? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Indy.
See IndyCar in person and enjoy great camping in 2021 at Road America. The $111 four-day tickets available for a limited time at roadamerica.com.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis. The 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. Coverage Sunday morning at 10 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
It takes him a second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
If you need me, and if you want my sweet love. Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. We're running through the library of every baby song produced, performed in the history of music. We are up to 1992 right now, I believe. Kevin Bowen of 1075thefan.com joins us now. Do you recognize this song, group and artist?
No, I got nothing. I actually knew last week, but this one I got nothing.
How old were you in 1992?
I was 3.
All right. This group is called Shy, and they came out, their debut album was just an absolute baby-making killer. I mean, it was. I mean, if you couldn't close the deal with If I Ever Fall in Love or Comforter, you were not closing the deal in the first place. I mean, it was awesome back then. I know at 3 you weren't thinking about closing any deals, but this was legit back in the day. I don't know what happened to them after that, but this was, I think, their third song from that debut album, which was incredibly successful, called Baby, I'm Yours, from 1993. It is Shy, S-H-A-I, Shy, Kevin Bowen.
Were they a one album wonder?
Yeah, I think the next album they have was called Right Back at Ya, and I don't think it did anything. I don't think they did anything after this. I'd have to look it up, but as memory serves, I think that their debut album, If I Ever Fall in Love, was basically it. So, and they did If I Ever Fall in Love a cappella, also if memory serves. It was legit too.
So were you closing in 1992 to Shy?
I'm deal closing. I'm closing the door. If I slapped Comforter on my cassette, my auto reverse cassette, it was lights out, baby.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mariano Rivera coming out of the bullpen.
the ladies of Indiana State had no chance. None.
What a frightening statement. The ladies of Indiana State had no chance.
They could not. No, they could not. Yeah, I guess that didn't sound very good, did it? No, it didn't sound. The ladies had no chance to navigate the path of my incredible level of charm. Does that sound better? That sounds better.
I was a little nervous.
No, it did sound weird, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little nervous there, but you did a great job.
I did it. Let me go ahead and clean up that mess I just made right there. So, yeah. Anyway, that is that. It's funny. So I started out the show. And I know that there can be excuses made with 8 minutes of Vic and no Sabonis because he's got hurt feet, and Jeremy Lamb going all the way back to when the season actually was being played in front of fans. But I'll be honest with you, you go game one yesterday of the playoffs against the Heat, I don't want to hear anything about it. I just thought they got worked, out-toughed, outshot by a team that you would think that they would know enough about right now to be able to sidestep some of the crap that they went through. And really, I'd have a little bit of embarrassment if I was those guys, the way that Jimmy Butler, being good and all notwithstanding, worked them over.
Yeah, I didn't think anybody matched the intensity of Jimmy Butler or really could be thrown in that same conversation there. So, yeah, I mean, I think that was disappointing. You got off to a really nice start. I thought they attacked really well in the first quarter, and I know obviously Victor left and Aaron Holiday was battling foul trouble, but you never sniffed that same mindset the rest of the game. And, I asked Nate McMillan before the game, you have to expect all this extra attention at TJ Warren. I mean, that's just what he's created, and rightfully so, what Warren has done. And he gave you a pretty efficient night yesterday, but your inability to take advantage of the matchups elsewhere when Warren is going to draw Jimmy Butler, and he's probably going to draw, if not multiple defenders, at least multiple sets of eyes on him when he has the ball, and yet, you can't expose Duncan Robinson or Goran Dragic or just in general a Miami team that doesn't have a whole lot of height. It was a very good opportunity in game one. Miami didn't shoot it, incredibly well from three. Like I said, the Pacers got to the foul line early on, and then that just wasn't sustainable the rest of the way. So, when you get in these series and you have opportunities, fourth quarter, close games, stuff like that, there's no guarantee that you're going to have, 5 chances, 6 chances throughout the series where the game's going to be that close in the fourth quarter. So I would say just not being able to match the intensity of their best players, I thought was very, very frustrating.
I also thought a lot of the positive work that they did was done with Miami's guys on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
And I look at that too because to me there was a little bit of fool's gold as to how winnable that game was, because it kind of felt like every time Miami had their guys out there, the Pacers were being overwhelmed. That's how I felt, especially offensively in shot making and toughness.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Eric Spoelstra knows if the series gets super competitive and much closer, those minutes played for Jimmy Butler and Bam are only going to rise. And yeah, the Pacers took advantage of that, which, again, kudos to the bench. I thought individually, honestly, some of the guys that looked most ready for the moment were guys like Jakar Sampson and Justin Holiday, and even Edmund Sumner, I thought gave them some pretty good minutes as well. And yet, you didn't see – yeah, I know Malcolm, scored a decent amount, but I still would have liked to have seen a little bit more from him and Miles was pretty much a non-factor.
If he does that, they have zero chance. And as I mentioned, Kevin, it started, and he needs confidence. He thrives when he's playing well in confidence, and you can absolutely tell. There's no poker face there. When he doesn't have it, it is not going to work out at all. He had that first dunk opportunity that he kind of laid up softly with his left hand and missed it, went back and got it, had another dunk opportunity and got grabbed. So he could have maybe gone and won with authority. Instead, he goes to the free throw line and splits one of two, and everything was front rimmed except for, the driving layups he got on or dunks, I should say. And I thought that was perfect for him to get off to a positive and a motivating type of thought, and it just seemed like it went downhill for him from that point.
Yeah, I thought he looked really timid, and to me, he's been the most disappointing Pacer throughout the bubble. I did think about your mentions yesterday during the game, so certainly RIP to those. But it's just, to me, John, I wasn't as stunned. I mean, I know, Greg and Bob both wrote columns after the game, with Miles kind of being more of a central theme in it. And to me, I wasn't as stunned by the Miles we saw yesterday because, to be frank, that's the Miles we've seen the entire bubble. Pacers the opposing big men have absolutely dominated the Indiana Pacers. And it was certainly 40 and 20 from Joel Embiid, and it was 20 and 10 from Thomas Bryant. And yesterday, Bam, fell right into that as well. So there's just an aggressiveness, a confidence, like you said, that Bam Adebayo, and from what I know about him and from what I've read in Miami, he was pretty pissed off last summer, that Miles Turner made Team USA over him for the World Championships. And he was pissed, obviously at the competition, and certainly I think at Greg Popovich and company, that he didn't make that team. And in that, tournament, for those that remember, Miles just – in the Elite Eight game or the Final Eight game against France, Rudy Gobert does what Rudy Gobert does to Miles Turner. Miles gets in foul trouble. He's starting, and finally, Pop just benches him early in the third quarter, and Team USA just goes small the rest of the way. I mean, it was just a total – it was an embarrassing performance by Miles on that stage. And frequently that happens too much. When the Pacers get on these stages, when he is playing against – the Embiids or the Goberts or this matchup yesterday where clearly Bam has a chip on his shoulder coming into that. And from the opening tip, it was two guys just playing with a totally different intensity level and confidence level. And this is not, me reacting to one game, and I know this disagrees with you, but I've always been team trade Miles, and I just don't think he has that instinct of that dog, if you will. And I've been I've never been a guy that's thought, Miles has got to give you 16 or 18 a night. I've accepted that that's not going to be him. So I don't have those.
But at other times though, you can get it. I mean, when you're full throttle, when you have Sabonis and when you have Oladipo feeling good, I mean, you can win and get away with that. The fact is, where they are right now, if he plays like that, and believe me, I mean, there are a lot of other issues too, but we're kind of magnifying this issue because he is so drastically needed. And it just from the outset, he didn't have it for whatever reason, and that's magnified right now, considering the circumstances and the players in which they're without.
And you were spot on. They need him so much. I mean, it's a 6'7" backup center in Jakar Sampson, or it's Goga, who looks about as lost defensively as I would be out there. So they need Miles more than ever. And like I said, I wasn't surprised by yesterday. He has been so disappointing in this bubble. Considering how much they need him, only stresses that point and furthers it to me. And it's more on the defensive end. Yes, he needs to finish at the rim better, attack the rim better, take advantage of smaller guys on him, all of that. But I've seen enough there. To me, it's your calling card, you've admitted it, you've shown it, and at times is on the defensive end of the floor, and you want to be known as one of the best defensive players in the NBA. And just look at the stat lines that these opposing bigs continue to put up, and it's a variety. I mean, Bam isn't a guy that's back to the basket, post move, et cetera, et cetera. He kind of faces you up and just out quicks you and out hustles you, and he doesn't have a great array of, post moves or skill sets like that, like a Joel Embiid or somebody else. So, I mean, it's been very disappointing. And if I were Kevin Pritchard and company, I know they might want to run it back and try to have everyone healthy and all of that. But, boy, I'd be having a long, long conversation about how do we try and do some things differently, because the Miles we saw yesterday is the same Miles we saw last year during the playoffs as well.
Yeah, the other thing that I think about, too, and Kevin Bowen from 1075thefan.com joins us, is, I mean, they had success in some games in playing small ball. They had some success, which would lead you to believe that some sort of decision would possibly be made if they want to continue. I'll give you a great example. I talked to Jay Michael about this. I said, hey, do you think, and this was maybe 2 weeks ago, do you think them playing small ball in the bubble will be something they will embrace in the short-term future, meaning they're going to have to make a decision on bigs? And at the time, he said yes. Now, I will say that since that time we talked, their small ball hadn't worked any better than their big ball. I mean, it hadn't. I mean, we saw this yesterday. We saw the ball stop. We saw the ball stick. We saw it being dribbled way too much. We saw way too much confusion, to me, against the Miami Heat defense that kind of looks like a discombobulated zone / man-to-man. I mean, it's just kind of gimmicky looking thing. But it is ideal, I think, defensively against the Pacers, because it fouled them up yesterday for real.
Yeah, a couple things I want to see from Nate moving forward. And I know the bench played, fairly well, honestly, yesterday. I think, and I'm assuming Victor is going to play tomorrow. Victor, Malcolm, TJ Warren, those 2 of 3 need to be on the floor at all times. You just don't have the horses, I think, to be able to weather the storm when 2 of those guys are on the floor. So that's going to mean change up the rotation. Things will look weird. Minutes will be kind of jumbled and whatnot, but I think that's a must for me. And then in terms of small ball, I think the spacing is better. I just think the Pacers didn't take advantage of that spacing at all. Like, guys just haven't figured out.
Well, I would be concerned about that for the future, because, Kev, this may end up being just some, hey, it's an AU type of event. And, I mean, everybody may not look, in a regular season or a regular game in somebody else's building with fans up their rear end. This is probably not going to look as it does right now. So I guess my question would be that the small ball that we saw that was working and was so exciting to that point, Kev, was it fool's gold?
No, I don't think so. Aaron Holiday, and continuing to have him in the starting lineup, you're going to get ups and downs. I mean, he's a very volatile player.
What about TJ Warren? Is TJ Warren that level of a scorer, or is he compelled by the environment or what she's in?
No, I mean, he's not, 35 a night or 30 a night, but, I mean, he's a capable scorer in this league. I think, honestly, and this is probably a bigger question for the offseason, but if I were Kevin Company, I'd blow it up a bit, and that would mean trying to get rid of Miles, committing to Domas as the big moving forward. I'd like for the 4 guy to be kind of more of a versatile 6'8", 6'9" guy that has the strength of rebounding and can hit an open shot. I know, if you get too crazy in trying to pinpoint the skill set, it's going to be very difficult to find that player, but a guy that can kind of switch on the defensive end, can rebound the ball at a solid level, and can hit an open jumper. And I would probably try and move Victor as well, and get some return on that, because I don't see him locked in here long term at all. I know that's not running it back and having a healthy core like they mentioned when the Nate McMillan extension came, last week or whatever. But that's what I would do, And okay, can you fit a piece in the backcourt with Brogdon, you have Warren at the 3, have a new 4, Domas at the 5, Jeremy Lamb, and some nicer bench pieces as well. So I think small ball and that spacing is what's needed on the offensive end of the floor. But when you get on the other end, you better be a committed rebounding team, and the Pacers just haven't been that either. Because if you're going to go small, which, Domas to Aaron Holiday, is about as big of a height difference that you're going to get. So that's where I kind of look at it and say, all right, you're not going to go Aaron Holiday small. If you can have, 6'4", 6'5", 6'7", 6'8", something like that, and can be a little bit more interchangeable on the defensive end, I kind of like that, and that can make up for maybe not having the ideal rim presence, whereas, Domas would be your 5.
Yeah, I don't see. It's kind of funny. I think about it this way. I kind of wonder how careful organizationally some of these teams will be by virtue of what they see here compared to what they feel is going to be the reality once you get back to the norm. Because
could not agree more.
I mean, listen, we have to ask ourselves too: is Phoenix real? Is that whole thing real? Being unbeaten, they're real. Is that something that's going to catapult them into a top 5 position in the West? I mean, listen, I know Devin Booker is a really good player. There's no question about it. But, I mean, the rest of the guys that put up numbers there and they run up and down the floor like it was an AAU game, is that going to be the reality for a foregone conclusion for the future? I mean, I don't know if you can honestly make that call.
Yeah, and I really don't want people to think that, like, this opinion that I have is coming after, one game here in this playoff series. This is more of I think it's time to try and shoot for the stars a little bit more than the Pacers have done. And I look at last year's, getting swept by Boston. When you overachieved in the regular season last year, a great regular season again, and, without Victor, for the final couple months of the year, and yet when you got swept in that series, Kevin Pritchard, I thought, was very honest and said, we have got to score the basketball a whole lot more. And so he goes out and he finds a scoring-minded guy in T.J. Warren. Same thing with Jeremy Lamb. Brogdon, maybe not that much of a scoring mindset, but obviously a really solid player. And they made some substantial changes last year, even though they overachieved in the regular season. So
I don't know.
Fine line you walk in trying to run it back, and then all of a sudden, if you get no return on Victor, and he walks next summer, and then you're kind of okay. We think Miles and Domas can work. I don't really.
Well, and that's why I say I don't think it's blowing it up. I wouldn't think that'd be blowing it up because I mean there are question marks surrounding Vic. There's no doubt, and I don't know if anybody would consider if they do decide to go small ball. Trading Miles would be blowing it up. So that just may be the reality. I will also tell you this. I mean, the reality of playing small ball and up and down the floor and scoring a lot of points, I don't know if you can marry that with Nate McMillan's offense and have it come out as you want it to. You know what I mean? And they certainly have put, the short-term future solidly in the hands of Nate. So is his offense conducive to how they want to play or how you just described? I mean, it has in spots, but consistently it has. That's a tough call right there.
No, I think you are spot on, and something that I think Kevin and Herb and you just have to be very honest with yourself of what do you want as a franchise. And given the extension to Nate McMillan, well deserved, I think, for many reasons, but I also would have been extremely direct with him and say more open-minded offensively, more innovative. Why have you had consistent regular season success and then fallen on your face year after year in round one? Like, why is that? Yeah, they've been the lower-seeded team many times, but still, I mean, it's like a 1-8 series record in the playoffs. It's like, okay, you need to challenge him 16, 17 years into it as an NBA head coach. Push his buttons and see, okay, are you going to do some things differently? Do you need to bring in an offensive mind like you have with Dan Burke on the defensive end? that would be something that I think you would be looking into as well.
And in closing here, the other part of this is going to be who knows how this season is going to look, the short amount of time you have. I mean, how much significant retooling are you going to have the opportunity to do? That's the other aspect.
Yeah.
So,
and that's extremely fair, and that would be something that I'm not – trust me, I'm not betting – pushing my chips on the table that the Pacers are going to be doing these things. I'm not.
I thought you were turning into Bob Kravitz. Bob Kravitz wants to blow a team up every year. Bob Kravitz carries dynamite to blow a team up, I think. I thought you were going Kravitz on me there for a minute.
No, I'm not. I'm not going full Kravitz on you here. I just think it's time organizationally to try and take a little bit more risk. And the easy way out would be to run it back and to say everyone will be healthy, which, again, knock on wood, but Malcolm Brogdon and T.J. Warren's history in this league are not two very healthy players.
I agree with you on that. I think financially for anybody, they would find it as business people tough in this environment to take financial risk, especially if they've never done it before. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you? I mean, in this environment, I don't know how much of a risk you'd be willing to take.
Yes. I mean, again, I'm not expecting it. Like, I don't believe this is what they will do. This is what I think that they should do.
Yeah,
but, no, sure. I mean, you are 100% there. I mean, we know how the Pacers operate, and certainly in this environment, I mean, we've seen not to get too businessy deep into it, but unfortunately the Pacers have laid off some of their staff, and we see where Simon – is as a company as well throughout this pandemic. So yeah, I don't think this is going to happen, but I just think the consistency of 45 to 50 wins, it's great. It's a fun team to watch during the regular season, consistently in the playoffs. But, for the last 5 years, we've watched 15, 20 teams around the NBA win a playoff series, and the Pacers aren't one of them. So I just think it's time to take a chance, be a little bit more aggressive with that line of thinking, and see if you can find something and potentially strike some gold. It's not going to be easy, but
yeah, I think they already answered your question though by re-upping Nate in the fashion they did. I don't know how much chance there's going to be going on there. But hey, listen, seriously, good conversation. Thank you so much for sitting in past couple 3 days, man. I appreciate you more than you know.
How's Mom?
She is, I think her surgically repaired ankle after breaking it in 3 places was much more sore after watching that game yesterday afternoon. So she's hoping for a tremendous turnaround in Game 2 to help the pain. But she's hanging in there.
I think she speaks for everyone locally. So good to hear, and I'm glad you got to spend some time with her.
Thanks, man. Brother, I appreciate you more than you know, Kev. Thank you.
Yes, sir. See you, John.
Kevin Bowen, 1075thefan.com. Quick break. Back with Sam Schmidt next.
How much do you need to save for retirement? Hi, I'm Rick Edelman, founder of Edelman Financial Engines. The question's simple, but the calculation can be complex. How much you need to save for retirement depends on how much income you want, what outside sources you'll have, like Social Security and pensions. And here's the good news. You don't have to guess. We can give you the answer. For more than 32 years, we've shown people just like you how much you need to save for retirement and how to invest it. And now's your chance. Call us for the personal financial advice and investment management services you need with local offices to serve you. At Edelman Financial Engines, we're happy to help you whether you have a little to invest or a lot or anything in between. Come see why thousands of folks just like you rely on Edelman Financial Engines. Call us at 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC. Or visit us at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com.
Major League Baseball is here. PointsBet is ready to go yard with $10 for every homer hit. Why? Well, they figured home runs are pretty cool, but why not make them epic? So now, when a ball goes yard, $10 in free bets goes in your pocket. Ball breaks a windshield in the parking lot? You guessed it, $10 in free bets goes in your account. The more balls sent deep, that's right, the more free bets you get. So batter up and get ready to let it fly. $10 in free bets every home run your team hits. Download the PointsBet app today. Use promo code Indiana. PointsBet. Stay sharp. PointsBet is a proud partner with the Hollywood Casino, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Must be present in Indiana. Must be 21 plus. Additional terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, Johnny, for Diamonds Direct, did you know? Well, Diamonds Direct is the absolute best. Here's some important facts for you right here. When buying a diamond of, well, the 4 C's, cuts by far is the most important here. You want a diamond that's properly cut, or you're going to end up with a dull diamond that just kind of sits there. Yes, exactly. You want it to sparkle. You want that bling to sparkle. It is awesome what you get at Diamonds Direct. Diamonds Direct, in fact, born in a family of diamond cutters. They know their stuff, and they take pride in offering only the best, but at the best value price. Mind-blowing selection, no pressure, no risk environment, a complete objective diamond education, and a free lifetime warranty with any purchase. That's why they are the best. It's Diamonds Direct. Tell them I sent you. Keystone at the Crossing.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com, your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Slippery Noodles back in action just in time for the basketball game on Thursday. Here's a pop quiz for you. 3 walk into the Slippery Noodle. JMV, Holverson, and Evan Williams. 2 are average Joes, and 1's an exceptional family of bourbons. If you picked Evan Williams, move to the front of the class. Now, who's joining them to watch the game? Enjoy amazing food and drinks, and why not hang around for JMV's broadcast after the game? Come support the Slippery Noodle this Thursday with JMV and Evan Williams Bourbon.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. When it comes to racing, Arrow McLaren SP knows customization is the key to performance. When it comes to vaping, Views Alto puts you in the driver's seat. Our best vapor yet. It's fully customizable with a variety of smooth tastes, nicotine levels, and bold colors. It's your vape, your way. Views Alto. Charge beyond. Views is a proud partner of Arrow McLaren SP. Vapor products. Underage sale prohibited.
Hey, John, here in your soccer scoreboard update brought to you by your hometown club, the Indy500. They look to avenge their 1-1 draw against rival Louisville City, 8 p.m. next Wednesday, Lucas Oil Stadium. Download the Indy11 app today for your ticket information. The final European Champions League semifinal match today, and Bayern Munich, a 3-0 victory over Lyon. Again, Indy 11 next Wednesday, rival Louisville City, 8 o'clock, Lucas Oil Stadium. Download the Indy 11 app for your ticket info right now.
Let Pierce Jewelers in Carmel take your older jewelry and gemstones and repurpose them into something new and exciting for that special occasion in your life. So shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
The Ride with JMV.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Kristen Airy, Zach Kiefer, Kevin Bowen, and our friend Robin Miller podcast, 1075thefan.com. Hey, joining us now from Arrow McLaren and a part of Conquer Paralysis now, the 20th anniversary, which is a gathering that's taking place coming up tomorrow. And a friend of the month of May, which is now transitioned to the month of August around here, Sam Schmidt joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Sam, it is fantastic to have you on the show. How are you, sir?
I'm really good, man. Thanks for having me on, although I hope my wife's not listening. I'll have to make a call to Diamonds Direct if she is. But
my man, my man,
that's a good ad.
You just tell them I sent you, okay? Be sure to do that.
You got it.
It makes life much, much easier. Hey, before we get started on the 20th anniversary coming up tomorrow and your team in the month of August and the 500 on Sunday, give me your best Robin Miller story. Do you have one loaded up?
Robin Miller. Oh, boy. So many to choose from.
There is.
Yeah, he's misspelled our name a few times, but that's not very that's not very unrealistic. Man, I don't know. Caught me off guard with that one. Let me think about it.
That's okay. If you come up with one at the end of the conversation, that's okay too. But he's a long time been a friend of the show, and we were talking a little bit earlier about how differently the month of May looks to him being around here so long. How different does it look to you being in August to May, at least until this point, moving up to a race day Sunday?
Well, we got to have it. I mean, it's iconic. Rogers invested a ton of money. The place looks really nice. I wish the fans could see it, but they will at some point. But, I think the biggest thing is just, the fans are the heartbeat of this thing. And I've told people they can't get it on TV. If you're on the starting line for Gentlemen Start Your Engines, marching 1,100 troops down the front stretch, the flyover, I mean, if your hair doesn't stand up, you're not an American, or you're not breathing. And so, without that, it's going to be very different. It feels like I'm here for a test and the race is a month off or something, but Groundhog Day, whatever you want to call it, but it's not going to be the same. But at the same time, for the series, which had so much momentum going into COVID, and for Roger Penske and for the teams and the fans, we got to have a race. So it's disappointing, but we're making the best of a bad situation, really like everybody in America is right now.
How's your team? How do you feel about your team being where they are to start this race coming up on Sunday, and considering all the circumstances that COVID has called that are so incredibly unusual?
On one hand, we took a pretty big risk with two rookies, effectively the last two Indy Lights champions, and then to top it off, they're supposed to get 6, 7, 8 days of live testing, which COVID blew up. And yet they've come out, with amazing results. Pato's fourth in the points. Shot on pole, almost right, won Road America. Both of them got podiums at Iowa, an extremely difficult track to learn. And so, coming into it, it's like, man, just drive around all day. Let's hope and pray for a top 10. But now I think our expectations there with them are a little higher. Of course, we got Fernando Alonso, and had a really fast car the first couple of days. Touched the wall and had to rebuild it. But I think he'll be there. He's just got a long way to go. And it's extremely competitive. The Hondas had the upper hand with the boost level during qualifying. But I think what we saw in Sunday's practice, what we'll see carb day, is that both manufacturers are pretty equal. And it's going to come down to, handling, because it's going to be hot and slippery. And the new aero screen does create some turbulence with a lot of cars in a line. So I just think you're going to see a much different race. Hopefully there's a high level of passing. But bottom line is, I think we're looking pretty good. It's just an unknown with two rookies and Fernando only doing this race as a one-off when everybody else is doing the whole season. But our pit stops have been really good lately. You just got to check a lot of boxes here, and there's so many variables.
Sam, how difficult is it? I mean, even for a guy that's, been coined and tabbed, the greatest on the planet a couple of different times over the course of his driving career, his racing career, how difficult is it for even somebody that has the resume of Fernando Alonso to do a one-off and to be competitive and successful in it here?
Well, Thursday was a perfect example, right? He's top 5 Wednesday and Thursday, and then just gets a little low behind 3 cars, and it sailed up the track and bit us a little, So it shows the talent of these drivers, and he is amazing. I mean, no doubt. We've had him in the simulator. We've been around him. I mean, I'm hoping our 2 rookies are sponging as much as they can off of this guy, because his level of commitment, his knowledge, his level of detail, attention to detail, I mean, it's just above anything you normally see. So it's an amazing opportunity for these 2 young guys to spend a couple of weeks around him in what could be his last 500. I mean, there's no way he's going to tell them everything he knows, but at the same time, I'm hoping they can learn a little bit from his perseverance and his just level attention to detail. It's amazing.
Sam Schmidt joins us. What have you learned, if anything, being around Fernando Alonso the time that you have?
Well, I knew it going in because we watched him 2017, watched everything last year. you don't become a, two-time 24-hour Le Mans, now Dakar, and now going back to Formula One at 35 years old. I mean, he's in amazing shape. He's dropped actually about 15 pounds since last year. He's been training physically, mentally, everything it takes. And there's just a lot of knowledge base there and a lot of, what you want your drivers to be. So I wasn't a team owner. I wasn't his team owner when he ran the two previous times, but it's just kind of what you come to expect with somebody with his credentials.
He is Sam Schmidt with us, three drivers with the greatest spectacle in racing, the 104th running of the 500 coming up on Sunday. Tomorrow, it's hashtag Stand With Sam. The 20th anniversary gala celebrates Conquer Paralysis Now milestone. And much like what we've talked about, it is going to be different. It is going to be virtual, but still the focus remains the same going into tomorrow, doesn't it?
No, I appreciate that. It is our 20th anniversary, and we had one hell of a party planned with some Olympic athletes, paraplegics, and some great guests and some milestones to talk about. And, just like the 500 without fans, it's not going to be the same for me without that one-on-one and that social party. It's become, I think, the standard for Thursday night before the 500 kind of kick off the race weekend and be a very popular party in town. So at first I was pretty bummed about that, but then watching a few virtual fundraisers and seeing how that all works, I've kind of turned the corner, and it's pretty interesting because we're able to get a lot more people to participate that may not have been able to visit, i.e. Roger Penske, Mario Andretti, Ari Lindike. All of these people have a piece in the virtual gala, as does Dave Calabro, who's been there for 20 years, but also Jamie Little, who's a true professional sports commentator, doubling up on the MC. And then we were able to pop in, some milestone victories for the foundation over the last 20 years. We're kicking it off with a 30-minute cocktail party with a great local band, and then we go into 45 minutes of program with all of those people chiming in and saying some things, and then it wraps up with a 15-minute cocktail party at the end with the band. And so, it's kind of like, sit there, grab a cold one, pizza, whatever, and watch, because I think it's going to be a really well-produced, easy-to-watch, quick thing. The other thing that's cool is we have thousands of fans and followers around the country that never had the opportunity to come to this gala in May. And so I know of at least 20, maybe 25 watch parties around the country where people have invited their family and friends to come see what we're all about because they've been talking about us. And, so New Jersey, Austin, California, Denver, they're all hosting, fan parties. So our auction has been posted for over a week online, and it's killing it already. We got drivers' helmets on the auction. We got Alonso's helmet. We got Alonso's driver's suit and a bunch more stuff, golf stuff. It's really something for everybody. So those numbers are looking really good. So I'm not I think we're, if we can have a live one next year, we're going to go back to that for sure. But maybe we have a virtual component and have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you can add, because I think, Sam, everybody from what we've gone through and the way things have changed, you're going to find some things that work out, and maybe that wrinkle is added to what has already worked. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm assuming that's just like what you do and like what you're kind of working to find a solution and certainly working to find a way to make something better. And sometimes, assuming this, sitting here talking to you, that comes from unusual circumstances by surprise for you.
Well, there's that saying, right? The only thing constant in life is change.
Yeah.
And especially in motorsports, if you don't get ahead of it and think 5 years out, you're going to be at the tail end of the deal. And I think it's the same thing with the foundation. There's a lot of them that have shut down throughout this process, and we're full steam ahead. We know there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people we gotta serve and make the situation better. And probably our best results are showing up in the public, whether you call it Kevin Swindell or Robert Wickens, who were both diagnosed that they would never walk again, and we put them into the process. We threw everything at them that we've learned for 20 years, and now both these guys are walking, with some walkers and some canes. So those are very, public results of the situation, but we've got hundreds of stories like that. So we're checking the boxes, and I'm just really pleased. I mean, I can't turn a wrench. I can't, make this physical rehabilitation happen. I've just got incredible people on the team and at the foundation and in my personal life and my personal team, or else I'd never be able to do what I love here.
Let me tell you this: you lead by example. Regardless, you lead by example. I mean, your personality is something that, I mean, you're one of the favorite personalities every month of May, or in this case, every August in the month of May when you have fans out there, and that's always been amazing to me. I mean, it's it truly, I think, shows just how great your personality is, just because so many people gravitate to you, to listen to you, to hear what you have to say, get cheered whenever folks see you, whenever fans are allowed out there. It has been amazing, man. It's a special person, man. It's a special person in you.
Well, I really appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. But, I mean, from 5 years old in Southern California, racing motocross, watching Rick Mears work his way from desert to factory ride to Roger Penske and winning 4 Indy500s. Ever since those days, it's been my dream to compete at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And, paralyzed or not, we want to win this race outright. We had a hand in Dan Weldon's car in 2011 when he won, and I still own that chassis. But we haven't run it outright as a team, and that's bigger to me than the championship right now. And that's definitely something we have to accomplish before I stop doing this. And so I appreciate that. It's kind of like the sprint race within the marathon being, paralysis, and trying to solve that for people. But in the meantime, the racing and the passion for that is kind of what gets me up every morning. So in addition to, I got a wonderful family, a beautiful wife for 28 years, and my kids were 6 months and 2.5 when I got hurt. So, those are the kind of things that, that make me get up every morning and go on and do what we do. And, but I couldn't do it without a lot of help. So
no, you're a great dude, special dude, man. There's no doubt about that. And that's not just me saying that. That's every time somebody sees you out there, you can kind of hear that passion with the fans. Hashtag Stand with Sam.
Fans are great.
The 20th anniversary gala celebrates Conquer Paralysis. Now milestone. It's the 20th anniversary. It is virtual, coming up tomorrow, and we'll let people know. Continue to remind people how they can check that out too. And in closing, I know I got to let you go. I know you got to run. Did you really win $16,000 on Pressure Luck?
Oh my God, I hate YouTube.
I'm sorry, but
no.
the
right,
fact
man. It was actually 18.5, and back in.
What? I consider myself this knower of all information like that with one of the greatest all-time game shows, Pressure Luck. I didn't know that until just now.
1986, sophomore at Pepperdine. Sitting there eating my Wheaties in the morning, and I watched it. They put it up there. They put up a challenge. Went in and auditioned, and I was on for 3 days. $18,500, still a lot of money. But back then, it was like the moon, and that ultimately, I got cut off after I finished college, and so that ultimately paid for my MBA, and the rest is history. But it's pretty funny. I don't know if they have all 3 days on YouTube, but it's I got the Don Johnson look. I got the puffy hair, the mustache. I mean, it's like it's the 80s through and through, and so nobody in my world knew about that until maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Somebody found it on YouTube or Game Show Network or something, and I will never live it down. And of course, Pressure Luck just made they just made a new one.
Yeah.
It's out, and this one looks a little more new and exciting, but the core elements are still there. No whammies, big bucks. No whammies.
How many whammies did you hit in those 3 episodes?
I went against the norm, which the norm is stack up a bunch of points and then pitch them at somebody else so they whammy out. And I said, screw that, I'm going to make some money. And it worked the first 2 times. I didn't get any whammies. I won the money. I won the race. I won the event. But the next day, the third day bit me, and I whammied out. But it takes 3 to get to get kicked out of the show, and so
yeah.
But I was ecstatic, man. It was fun.
Hey, I did not know that. I appreciate you sharing, and I appreciate you doing what you're doing with the gala coming up tomorrow. We'll remind people about that tomorrow. They can watch it virtual. And the best of luck coming up on Sunday. Let's do this again, man. You're always a pleasure. I really appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate it. It's free of charge, and on YouTube or just through the foundation, conquerprocessnow.org. And, come join, grab a drink, and have some fun. Should be a good show.
Sam, thank you very much, man. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
It's Sam Schmidt on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. That was awesome. Race of the day is next.
500's coming up. Miller Lite wants to crash your bash. Visit 1075thefan.com for your chance to enter and win Miller Lite and fan swag to deck out your race party.
John for PAI, WeGrowHairIndy.com. If you're losing your hair and you want options in hair regrowth, 317-522-2995. Get that private consultation with Darren Andrews, WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
As Indiana returns to work, the Indiana union construction industry remains focused on getting the job done so our communities can get back on track. For over 100 years, our contractors and skilled tradesmen and women built and maintained Indiana's hospitals, highways, bridges, schools, and utilities, essential infrastructure that keeps our state moving forward during all conditions. And with safety as a top priority, we're ready for whatever it takes to rebuild our economy. We built Indiana's past, and we're here to build Indiana's tomorrow. The Indiana Union Construction Industry. Value on display every day.
I'm Trent Todd, business representative for Sheet Metal Workers Local 20. Our members and contractors have been the clean air and building enclosure specialists for over 100 years. We lead the industry in professionally installed energy-efficient HVAC systems, as well as properly installed architectural roofing and siding packages. From clean air to dry buildings, our team will exceed all your expectations. Skilled on principle, union by choice.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com, your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates are in the 2s. Maybe your current rate is in the 3s and you think you're good enough. Well, I can tell you this now. It only takes 5 minutes to see how much money we can save you by dropping your rate into the 2s. And at the Home Loan Expert office, we're still closing loans in 30 days. Find out how much you can save today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, John, the NBA playoffs are here. FanDuel Sportsbook is too, and a slam dunk offer you will not want to miss. Right now, new users can get a special plus 2,000 odds. Any team you can do that with to make the NBA Finals. Just pick that team and bet $10 for your chance to win $200 if they make it. This offer is even available on the favorites like the Bucks and the Lakers. So the ball is in your court. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Get started on this fantastically fun venture right now using the promo code JMV. It's awesome, really is. Tell them that I sent you utilizing the promo code JMV at FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook, more ways to win. 21 plus, present in Indiana. New users only must wager on designated Boost Market. Max bonus $200. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Every game has 1,000 storylines. So if you've got an angle, a hunch, or some info you got from that guy in 10 fantasy leagues across the street, Unibet's got that bet. Unibet Sportsbook has all the bets you need for every game. Sign up today and get $30 to bet with. Visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, every Tuesday through Friday, it's me with the race of the day, brought to you by Harris Hoosier Park in Anderson. To enter, go to my Twitter account at JMV1070, retweet my tweet that goes out around 5, and you can go VIP with 50-50. That's betting and dining at Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino. Here's the entrance. Pat Marsh has Jill's Bright Star. Middle of a Memory goes to Graydon Hood. Kevin Taylor gets Rock and Runaway. Moose is Loose goes to Greg Gary. Nathan Helm with SPC Ryan P. Jane. Always Strong Dave Clark. Uncle Topher gets Bloodhaven. Nitrosilicious gets Gareth Guliano. And Little Port Derrick goes to Sean Newman. Good luck. Here's your race of the day.
The following is presented by the Indiana Standard Bred Breed Development Program. From Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino, it's time for the harness race of the day on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
And they're off. Good start here for Always Strong, who hustles right out middle of a memory to the inside. A Rock and Runaway there between horses. Jill's Bright Star gapping out in fourth. The Moose is Loose is underway to the outside. Too wide in the fifth. Nitrolicious is on the move as well as they race out of the first turn. Along the pylons, it's specialist Ryan P. Jane. They reach the first quarter-mile marker, 27-1. And to the outside, Moose is Loose, grabbing the lead as they make the turn to the backstretch. Moose is Loose, clearing to the front. Always Strong to the inside, racing in second. Middle of a memory is gapping third. And off stride, Moose is Loose. So Always Strong inherits the lead. Middle of memory to the inside is a gapping pocket sitter with the Rock and Runaway third. Along the pylons, Jill's Bright Star racing fourth. There between horses, Nitrolicious. And to the outside, Moose is Loose, back pacing. And also between horses comes Little Port Derrick. Down along the pylon, specialist John Pete Jane. And the trailer Bloodhaven is right there in the mix as they pass the half in 58-2. Always Strong. The lead is still 2 lengths. Earplugs coming out now. It's Always Strong leading to the upper turn. Here's Middle of a Memory out of the pocket with a burst of speed. And Middle of a Memory going right by the laboring leader. But also with a move of the outside then is Rock and Runaway. Meantime, Nitrolicious has been out every step of the way, just grinding it out. They're at 3/4 and 128-4 as they race midway through the stretch. Middle of a Memory to the outside. Rock and Runaway is there looming large in the second. And out towards the center of the track comes Bloodhaven from far, far back. And Bloodhaven is all out here as he throttles to the lead. Down into the passing lane comes specialist Ron P. Jane, but at the wire it's Bloodhaven. Bloodhaven in 156-2.
Just minutes from Indy off I-69 in Anderson, Harrah's Hoosier Park has live standard-bred horse racing through November 21st, thanks in part to the Indiana Standard-Bred Breed Development Program. And keep listening for your chance to win with Harrah's Hoosier Park Harness Race of the Day on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, join me tomorrow. It's going to be abbreviated. I'm only on for about 22 minutes, but I'm going to break down the Pacers. Pacers game starts at 12:30 with the pregame. Join me tomorrow.
The Ride with JMV. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Uncle Topher, well done. The 50 and 50 VIP prize pack, courtesy of Harrah's Hoosier Park at Anderson, the race of the day. Right here on 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan. That's awesome. Bloodhaven, SPC, Ryan P. Jane, Rock and Runaway. Ooh, also in the mix right there. The exacta payout, $2. It was $59.20. Trifecta payout was $145.40. Harrah's Hoosier Park race of the day. Tomorrow for me, I'm going to be at the grand reopening of the Slippery Noodle. That's coming up on tomorrow's show, which should be outstanding. I'll be there around noon, so join me there for free beverages from Heaven Hill and Brent Halverson flowing. That is tomorrow, and we'll come on after the Pacer game tomorrow with you on this show. After game number 2 with the Heat. That is tomorrow. Slippery Noodle downtown. Denary Miller, Kiefer Bowen, Sam Schmidt, and the race of the day. Kyle, great job out of you. Instant replay, trackside, and Toga all coming up tonight on 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
BetMGM Sports wants you to start out with amazing odds on this week's most anticipated matchup. New customers have a chance to win $100 in free bets when they place a $1 bet on any NBA matchup. And if either team hits a 3, you win $100. Use bonus code WFNI100. And all you have to do is sign up, make your first